Hi, everybody.
Hey, how you
Hi,
doing?
Ben. What's going on?
How's it going?
I'm good.
That's
Yourself?
good. Huh?
Yourself? How are you?
I'm doing great, doing great.
Good. Okay. I just got to turn the volume up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Okie dokie. So, hey, Koi.
How's it going, Coy?
How are you?
Yeah, it's a Bible Saturday.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Another one down. They're having such crazy weather.
yeah, it is. It's been
Yes, Koi.
cold and been freezing and everything.
Yeah. Hi, Ray Official.
Temp
Back.
nature, slick back.
Click back. How are you? How's everybody doing? How's your Saturday?
Everything's going great. Everything's going great.
Good. Ready for Nashville? Is it
Oh yeah.
Nashville? Yeah. Nashville.
Oh yeah.
Good, good.
Hey, AK Lover, how's it going?
Hey, hey. How are you?
Yeah, I was
Kids
just
back.
iterating on stuff that we looked at last year.
Yeah.
Just going over a lot of things, bug out bags when help is on the way, stuff that we covered over, first aid.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna. The weather's so crazy, all over the place, not just one particular location. I just want to cover
Hmm.
some quick things that you should have in your car.
Hmm.
Um, after we finish everything, just some essentials that you should have in your car. Like I think it was it Virginia or DMV area where
Hmm.
people were stuck in their cars for a day or two, day and a half.
Wow.
I wonder how many people were prepared to be stuck in a car. So I just want to go over a few things of that nature. Can you hear me?
Oh,
'Cause-
I hear you loud and clear.
all right, because I know it took really low.
All good.
All right. Poindexter coming in?
Yeah, it should be coming in.
Okay, great. Hi, Toppin. How are you? How many people have something in their car, a little survival kit in their car for any type of weather, regardless if you live in hot weather, cold weather, changing seasons? How many people have like a little kit in the back of their car to get them through should something happen? Just put a one in the chat.
Yeah. Hey, Santee, how's it going? Just put in what you got. Your
Good.
bug out bag, and
Yeah. Koi, good job. Good job, Koi. Is let's see, is Koi the only one? Oh my goodness.
come on, people. I know that there's more people out there with a bag in that vehicle, a get home bag, a EDV, every day.
Or just like a little car bucket survival kit. Just basically based around being in your car or having to maintain your car,
Mhm.
anything like that.
There's
Nope.
nobody.
Okay,
I
no
can't
way.
believe that.
That's
Nobody.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, just looking at the news and they were saying so many people backed up, stuck, um, you name it. It was pretty much going on. It's
Wow.
just interesting to know like how many people were ready for that or if they even prepared for such a long drive, especially like truckers or people that do long distance driving.
It's true. That is so true. I mean, we talk about it, and over the past months, I have to come to realize a lot of people are just, I don't know. I can say, I really don't know.
Yeah. It's a conditioning that it's not going to happen to us. So we hear it and we're like, yeah, that makes sense, but we don't follow through with it, and
Yeah,
that's probably the issue
that's so
until
true.
something happens. But see,
Yeah.
welcome
So I
back in
knew,
your dark trucks.
hey, you gotta have one. You gotta have one for survival. At the end of the day,
Yeah,
we're in a 2A community, but yet still survival is a part of 2A community.
right.
And
And
we,
just figure like if you have to bug out, you also have an extra set of things that's in your car that can assist you along with your bug out bag.
hmm.
Because if you're bugging out in your car, you're gonna need to maintain your car. You're gonna need to maintain yourself. So
True.
might be a good idea to have those things. Hi, True Butter. How are you? I hope everyone's doing well. So do you want me to show some of this stuff, or do you?
Yeah, just start showing up. You know,
Give me one. Okay, give me 1 second.
yeah, take your time. While she's getting everything ready, just want to make sure everybody have their stuff for survival. First aid kit, survival kits, things that you really need. You know, things that you can really use also. Make sure, because like I said, guns and ammo is needed. True, but survival, food, water. You know, keeping the temperature, acclimate weather, making sure everything is good. You're comfortable. And that's things that you have to have to survive. Look at you. How you doing? Yeah. Okay. Let me slap this in here. Hmm. Let me see. Case. Yeah. So what's new? Oh yeah, please hit the like button, please. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate everybody coming in. Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
The computer's like all the way over there, but the bucket is big. It's just a regular bucket you can get from Target.
Oh, okay.
Just it goes in the back of your trunk. So some things that I have is a gas tank.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Good.
Hi BP, how are you? This
Hey
goes in
everybody,
the back of
sorry
your
about
trunk.
the
So,
delay.
some things that I have is a gas tank.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Good.
Hi BP, how are you?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that. For whatever reason, the StreamYard doesn't like it goes to my phone. I can't
Oh.
forward it to myself. It keeps messing up, so I'm going to have that go to my email directly next time. But how's
Okay.
everybody doing?
Oh,
I'm an
great.
IT guy with IT problems. Maybe I should hire somebody else. Right?
Oh, okay. Hey, Carbon Q, what did you say? Did you purchase that bag, that box, bucket?
Walmart.
Okay.
I went to Walmart and got one. So we're just talking about survival stuff that you should have in your car.
Yes,
Since the weather's
ma'am.
crazy and things
Did anybody get caught up in that storm last week?
That's what we're talking about. I didn't, but I saw it on the news.
Yeah.
A lot of people out there. So the first thing I have is a gas container. It's a small one. You just need some gas to get you from point A to point B. You should just have one in the back of your trunk just in case you have to walk to the gas station and bring it back to your vehicle. So it's good to have one of these. Fix a flat. I don't know where I'm at.
Okay.
Should have one just in case. There's no things around. This is a booster to clear your window shield, especially in the snow.
Oh yeah.
All the dirt and all that stuff, you just add it to the window shield washer that you would already have in your car, just to keep your vision clear. Of course, your first aid kit.
Oh yeah.
All right. So the first aid kit, you just add all your stuff for stop the bleed, the regular stuff. You have your shears, have some carabiners here just in case if you have to.
Oh yeah.
Your what is this called again? Oh my gosh. Your tarp.
All right.
The window breaks and you have to cover it up and drive to a location. You have some carabiners to hook it down. This is another thing you should have. Your medical kit should have everything from first aid to stop the bleed stuff in it. So you customize your medical kit to whatever you need. Some medication just in case.
Yeah. What's good, dear meat? How's it going, brother?
Yes, ma'am.
These are really good to have inside your car. The thermal blankets.
Yes.
Just to keep you warm because you're not going to be able to run your car for an excessive amount of time. You want to keep your body heat in. These are great to have. They also come inside a sleeping bag.
Oh yeah.
One way, so you could just wrap yourself in there and be warm.
What's good, RGG?
RGG, what's good?
So tie downs are also good. You never know when you're gonna have to tie a certain part of your car down or latch on to somebody else so they can pull you out. Have a couple of these inside your vehicle in the bag.
Oh yeah.
If you're in inclement weather, no, hot weather, it's always good to have a can for your AC
Oh yeah.
and you can recharge it, keep yourself cool. Some WD-40 is always great.
Oh yeah. Multi-purpose.
Yes. Locks freeze up, anything like that. You can utilize that for that. Just some fluids for your car. So this is stop leak, power steering fluid, fuel injector,
Oh, you ready?
stuff.
You ready?
Yeah, try to be. This is just to pump your tires up if you get a flat.
Oh yeah. Is that the one you stick into the cigarette lighter?
Yes, and you can go ahead and do it. It has a light, so if it's dark, you can go ahead and still see what you're doing.
There you go.
I also have a jumper cable, the electric one, that you can also stick that into if you need to. But I packed it away, so I don't have it to show it to you right now.
Oh, okay.
Some bungee cord with a hook, just in case you gotta hook your car back up.
Oh yeah.
Where you got to go, the front bumper, back bumper, whatever. This is good to have inside your car. Some rope, different lengths.
Yeah, that 550 cord.
Yes, sir.
The 550 and also the higher tensile strength. It's good to have in case you need to get towed
Oh yeah.
as well.
Yes.
So have multiple types of cordage always. That's
Mhm.
never a bad thing. So
Some flares in case your vehicle, you're on the highway and you need them to go around you in the dark or signal to where you're at.
and that's so important, Carbon. You watch a lot of these videos online where there's bad weather and people don't cordon off their cars or show that there's a hazard up ahead. You just see people piling in each other, piling after piling after piling. So if you can identify that hazard zone in advance, put those down range, at least, maybe 50, 100 yards down range so people can get alerted. You can prevent a lot of destruction that goes on because I've seen too many times you roll up on an accident and nobody's marked off the accident, so they don't see it till the last second. And if it's snowing and bad weather, they're not going to stop.
Right.
At ATL.
If it's icy conditions too.
They're not going to stop in time. They had no notice. So that's so important. I've just seen too many incidents where people didn't have something as simple as that. They could have saved, multiple lives. So that's super, super important. I like that.
Thank you. Plastic bonder, just in case whatever is under that engine or hood. I don't know too much about that, but you might need to just seal something up or whatever. Also good to have just in case. And some tape for it's metal tape. I forgot what they call it, but you can use it for the hoses and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
On there. Some hand warmers. If you're working out there, you need to warm up. That's another source of heat, so that's great. So this plugs into your lighter. It's a blanket.
Oh, thermal blanket.
So if you have kids or somebody else in the car, elderly people, whatever, whilst you're working on the car, they can stay inside there and heat up, and you can actually have an alternate source of heat if you're in cold weather. Most of all, a safety vest, so they
Reflective.
Yeah.
But also bring some gloves.
Always.
Oh, we prepared. That is nice. That's what I'm talking about.
And also have a fixed blade knife available. One, protection. Two, you never know what you need it for. So
like we all on that page there.
correct. Have that available. Exactly.
Oh man.
Nice, sturdy, fixed blade.
Multiple, always. Fixed blade is so important.
Yeah. I have
Yeah, I was thinking the
just
same
have one
thing.
more thing. So just keep. It's a auto fire extinguisher.
Sure.
Good to have in your car. You want to put out that flame before the fire department can get to you or before it blows up, anything like that. It's good to have one inside your car. I also have like a heater, a Mr. Buddy. I don't know if anybody knows what that is.
A Mr. What?
A Mr. Buddy. I think it's Mr. Buddy, but it's a small heater. So if you have to turn your car off, the battery dies, whatever the case may be, it attaches to a small slender propane tank, and you can have heat for about 4 to 5 hours in the car.
There you go.
Wherever in a tent, it's a portable one. Matter of fact, give me a second, I'll show it to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Since I'm like further south, mine's not as intensive, but I'm taking out notes for all that stuff Carbon has because we're getting more and more cold weather out there, out here. It's kind of crazy. So, yeah, of course, like you said, more than likely, you're not going to starve within 24 hours. I think they were out there 24 to 30 hours out there, but you will die of hypothermia very quickly. In a matter of hours, you can die from hypothermia. So that heating blanket or something that keep you warm is very important. And a good trick about these, especially these reflective ones, you want to keep the heat in your car. So if you're running your car, you don't want it to run all night long and use up your gas. So what you can do is you can take these and get you some duct tape and tape these around your windows to keep that heat in. So any heat you're generating is reflected back into the compartment. So little things like that can save you energy and time. So you don't want to use all your gas up because you may not know how long you're going to be out there. So take these really inexpensive things and just tape them around the inside of your car, inside the windows. That's a really good tip to try to conserve some of your resources because you don't know how long you may be out there. So try to maximize whatever you have. Get those thermal blankets that are like the wool blankets, have those in there, like Carbon says, have something to keep you warm, or a sleeping bag that you can stay warm inside those areas, and try to stay in your vehicle because outside your vehicle, you're losing heat. And like she said, you can get hit by other cars coming up on the scene. So you want to secure that scene, make sure you've marked it off and try to stay as safe as possible inside your vehicle, stay as warm as possible.
And also, right here, I put down the link. Okay, Miss K, be safe out there too. Also, she has to go.
Be good, Miss K.
But I put a link out there I want everybody to check out. It's Bug Out Bag Builder.
Mm-hmm.
What we don't go over, that website does.
Yeah.
So there is no excuse. Once you go to this website, you can see the things that we're talking about.
Yeah. And you want to make sure you customize it to your need. Make sure you have the stuff that you need, because I'm in South Central Texas, it may not get as cold. It may not have the same need as what Carbon or, I'm sure it snows up where you are too, been shooting. So, make sure you customize it to your need, especially the medical. Make sure you have all those things that you're going to need. Maybe if you're dependent on a certain medication, that should be in your vehicle or on you. Make sure you have that inside your medical kit that you're carrying or keeping inside your vehicle, and go out and get those tools, get those things necessary, because like Ben Shooten said, MHP said, there's no reason for you not to have it. That information is there. So get out there and do it, because we see how easily we can be in a situation that we didn't expect. People think it's, when it hits the fan, it's some major catastrophe, but it could be something as simple as a bridge goes out. You're on your way home and a bridge goes out. And we know with these infrastructure, state of the infrastructure in the United States, that could easily happen. So if you have a lot of people on one major thoroughfare in any area and a bridge goes out and the weather is bad, how easy is it to get, back to where you need to go or get to an alternative route? Everybody's going to be going the same way. So have these things in your vehicle, have these things on you so that you don't get into a situation. I saw a couple of good things. They had a lot of truckers in that situation. People were out there, they hadn't eaten or drinking. Of course, 24 hours, you're not going to die of starvation, but you can get mildly dehydrated or if you have pre-existing conditions. So, but the truck drivers were sharing the food that they had in their cab. They had, MREs and other stuff that they could warm up and cook inside their vehicle. So they were sharing with people near them. So, you may be in that situation too, to where you're prepared and you have a bunch of people out there, you can, be of aid to somebody else who may not be in that situation. So it's not always about us, it's about, people around us who can also be helped. So, get these things in your vehicle. It doesn't cost a whole lot. Ben Shooten gave you that link, there's information out there. Get stuff that's going to apply to you, get some tools and get out there, get it done.
Mm.
This is
Okay.
there you go. The heater. This is the propane. It sits on top of it. You attach it, and it has a bottom for the propane tank. And this will heat up wherever in your car, wherever a small area. So
Okay.
you just need to have that in your bucket. You want to, like Poindexter said, throw MRE in there.
Yeah.
Throw some survival food in there and water. water in your car after a while is not good, but you can still utilize that water to cool your engine down, wash your hands, clean off your glass, the window shield back, the back window shield, keep it clear. So it's always good to have some water inside your car just in case for anything.
Yeah. I always carry my little water pouch.
Yep.
Yeah, I can mount this on the front with the valve on the back. It comes with a harness. You can carry this around. So I was in my car. I'm changing out the water periodically. Of course, I carry all my water filtration and everything, but it's just something I keep one of these in the back of my car. So if I may have to get up and go out. If you're in your car for 24 hours, you're not going to dehydrate. So you want to not maybe drink, a gallon an hour, because then you have to go to the restroom. So, just, drinking a little bit every now and then. If you're going to be stuck in your vehicle, some people have gone as far as having a small bucket with a liner in there so they can go to the bathroom in the car, put that solid waste in the bag and dump that in there. That could be inside your survival bucket. You can have a bucket that has a liner and that other material in there. Of course, for men, it's easier. Carbon has showed us some of those things that women can use to maybe use in that situation, because if it's sub-freezing temperatures, you don't want to be exposed to the elements. So it may be a little funky inside your car, but it's better than you
Yeah.
being out there in that freezing weather. So just have a little survival bucket with the liner in there that you can take that solid waste, and also keep maybe a little bag of cat litter. That's the thing too, that can absorb and keep that smell down too. So you have that in that bucket too. So if you have to have that solid waste in there, it's not so funky. It can absorb some of that moisture as well. And cat litter can be used for other purposes too, because it absorbs moisture really well. So again, in that vehicle, don't just push those fluids, because you're going to have to go to the bathroom. So.
Yeah. So it's good if your tires are spinning, you can use it as traction.
Traction, exactly. So multiple. That's the great thing about a lot of this stuff. It has multiple uses for this and that and the other. So you want to maximize and optimize what you have and what you use. If you have a tool that does one thing, that's great. But if you have a tool that does 3 or 4 things, so it's always good to kind of think and maximize, your tools.
A power bank for your phone, because you're going to need your phone to get to your family and everything else.
Yeah, and these are very inexpensive. This can do, I think, 3 or 4 charges on my phone. You charge it up, make sure it's charged, and it can charge 2 devices at the same time. So if your phone's running low, you have those, and it's very important so you can communicate. So,
This one is charged by the sun, solar powered. So it's really worth the money if you can get it. Where is this camera?
Don't forget your EDB, your everyday bag.
Yeah. Now, do you not keep a separate? Well, I know you probably do. Keep a separate bag in your car and then your everyday bag, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And you customize those to whatever the need is. Correct.
Thank you. Hi, $2. Also, glass breaker. That's on my EDC bag, so I didn't have it inside my little bucket. But you could throw another glass breaker inside there just in case you got out the car and you don't have your bag. Definitely put one inside there, or you can use one of the tactical pens. That's what I actually have on my medical bag that's in there.
Even your OC spray has, look for things again to maximum use. So if you have an OC spray, get one that has a glass breaker on there. If you have a knife, get one that has a glass breaker on there. You can't ever have too much. 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So multiple uses.
Anybody else have anything to add in the chat, maybe that you saw that we didn't have, and you could share with everybody else? Hi, $2. Hi, Diego.
I'm sure a lot of people live in Colorado. They had that experience. So, me, I've been in SoCal and Texas. So this is not applied information. It's what I'm ready to learn from people like Carbon and other people. So if you guys have that information, share it, because you never know who you may help. Somebody may get stuck somewhere and, they're prepared, and, that helps them get through that situation. So it's always good to share,
I lived in New York, so I'm used to the cold weather. It's change of season.
Yeah.
Cold weather, hot in the summer, but some places like Florida or, the South, where it's always hot, your needs might differ a whole lot. But
for here, like my situation, we're more susceptible to flooding. A lot of my stuff is maybe it's people who can't swim in my family, flotation devices, make sure you have ropes. So if somebody gets stuck in a situation, we have a lot of people who go in what they call low water crossings. So they're stuck out there and there's no way to retrieve them. So if you have rope or cordage, or something that can be used to kind of retrieve them from those situations. You talked about carabiners. I always have, like you said, multiple of those on my bed, because those can be used to help retrieve people in those situations as well. So just little things that don't cost a lot. If you don't want a whole box of tools, get you a multi-tool, get you a Leatherman, something like this. I've had this for over 20 years. I've used this thing. I've worn this thing out. It's still working. And it was very, very low cost. And I've used this probably more than any other thing in my tool bag. So it doesn't take up a lot of space in your kit. You can throw it, have one of these in your car, one of these in each one of your bags, and you're good to go, because it has things like, it has pliers, saws, knives, screwdrivers, everything in there. So it doesn't have to be a whole bunch of stuff, but the stuff that you have, you want to be able to use it for a lot of different things in a lot of situations. So.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, Dexter, how's it going?
Diego Darby up in here.
Diego.
Jeremy said something really great. I didn't know that, but that's a good idea. He said you can also use your floor mats for traction if you're stuck in the snow.
There you go.
That's actually a really good idea.
That's something good to know.
You want me to use my custom, my GTI floor mats for traction? I guess
That's something good to know.
Yeah.
That is good to know. Little stuff like that, I've driven in snow twice, so I don't know much about
That's old school. We did. Mm-hmm. It's a blanket that plugs into your car charger, and we had the sleeping bag, like the Mylar sleeping bag.
Hmm.
We have the sleeping bag, and then we also had the blanket. That tarp that I had, it's actually a Mylar blanket on one end, and tarp at the other end. So you can use it if you have to get underneath your car. It's really dirty or wet or whatever the case may be. You can actually use it to get you to lay down on to get and fix whatever's underneath your car or change the tire. Oh, if you have your tools to change a tire, make sure you have an extra tire inside there. Make sure everything is up to par in your car. So if you're stuck, you can get out of it.
Yeah, make sure your fuels are topped off.
And the thing is too, if you have a maid or partner, spouse, and you may be able to use these tools or change a tire, make sure that they're able to do that. One of the biggest things that opened my eyes was a few years back. Her car broke down, flat tire on the freeway, and she was on the left-hand side in rush hour traffic, and she didn't know how to change a tire. And I'm like, okay, I really slipped on that. So I had to go in there and get to this area, cordon it off and show her how to change that tire. But what if I hadn't been there, or something had happened because she was waiting for someone to come and assist her, or something else happened. So make sure that those around you also have that knowledge. You're sharing that knowledge with them. Don't hold information for you. So that kind of opened up my eyes. So now I make sure all my children have those skills. If anything that I know, they should automatically know. So.
And this is a good time also, I've noticed, to get tents, camping tents. I picked up one 3-person for $30. I mean, it's the time to pick up stuff right now for summer.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, sleeping bags, you can use them seasonal all year round. It's things to think about.
Yeah. Let's see somebody.
What was that?
I was just reading the thing. Corey was saying get the cheap blankets at the front counter at the big stores. Have them in your car. Absolutely. Blankets are always great.
Especially if those wool ones, a lot of times they'll go on sale in the spring and summer. I always grab as many of those as I can because they usually discount those,
Oh, yeah.
Those are really, really good. And again, surplus stores and stuff like that, they sell those things a little bit less expensive. I know some box stores can be expensive, but look for those deals and grab them when they're cheap. And
get those boots on your feet too, people.
Most definitely. I just ordered another pair of 511 boots. So
yeah, keep a hat, gloves, good pair of boots inside there, just in case if you have to hike from your car to a gas station or wherever there is civilization to make a phone call or whatever. Make sure you write down the numbers of the people that you need to get in touch with and put it on the back of the solar generator, the solar charger or something in your car or any place else besides your phone, because if you run out of battery on your phone, and if you don't have it remembered like we used to a long time ago,
Yeah.
you're gonna be
Remember?
you're like, I don't know.
And this year we're gonna work on that ham radio channel.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I've been playing around with it. There's a lot of
All three of us, we're gonna work
I
on
use
that.
Chime, and I have some local programmed stations on there, and been messing around with that. But yeah, definitely want to get up to speed on that ham radio because communication is crazy important.
Old school. I went to one today, and he's not lying.
Yeah, every Friday I stop by. There's one down the street from me, and I go in there and see what they have. And 9 times out of 10, I'll walk out of there with a great deal on something that I can actually use and need. So yeah, definitely hit those places.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Another good thing to have is the little crank Nova radios.
Yeah.
We say you should have them for your house or whatever it goes in. Throw in your car, you can keep abreast of whatever is going on outside. Again, you could just tap in and listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dexter, that's true. Also have those chem lights.
Hmm. I know it seems like a lot, guys, but I'd rather you have 5 of those things than none of those things.
Yeah.
True.
You can always improvise. You can MacGyver things together. You can use nature to counter a lot of things if you know what you're doing. You have a knife will take you a long way.
I think in most places those ham radios are like a mile depending on line of sight.
Line of sight.
Yeah, well,
Depending on where you are, if you're in valley, sometimes it could be longer if you're a higher elevation. I was reading on it, so it depends on where you are, but typically a mile and a half is a good range for most of those, from what I've been reading.
I'm gonna be honest too. Also, let y'all know.
Without repeaters, that is. If there are
Without
repeaters,
repeaters. I was gonna say with a repeater in your area,
Yeah.
you're good to go.
Yeah.
And make sure you don't just get one. Try to get multiple ham radios, especially if you have family members and you may have to be the one that has to go out and they have to stay in, that they have a line of communication with you as well.
Yeah.
And they're so inexpensive. I mean, I was surprised how inexpensive they were for those. So, and you can catch them on sale sometimes too. So definitely get those.
$2 said Skilly is good with the ham stuff. Maybe you need to pull Skilly on here. And
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good to know. I'll work on that. Most definitely.
Also, when you get it, let us know so we can form a community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. $2. See, there you go.
Mhm.
You never know.
Wow.
You never know when you're going to be of aid to somebody. I mean, we talk about, firearms and this and that nature. And every time I ask somebody, how many times have you had to use your weapon? And people are like, usually never. And then I say, well, when's the last time you had to use first aid or medical on somebody? And it's like at least once, twice, so
That's true.
everything turned out well. But it's good to have that person trained on site, and everybody should be trained. There shouldn't be one person. First aid is something that can be easily learned and practiced. And so get those skills up, people, because I want to feel confident that if I go down, I know Carbon got me. I know MHP got me. I know different people have my back. So
yeah, that's so true.
Is he okay?
Yeah, how is he?
$2?
He said he had to administrate first aid on Ampoule. Was it training? Because he said he had training with Tangent.
It wasn't like something serious, or
oh, there you go.
I don't ever know when you guys are joking or not.
The ham, Skilly in the ham.
Oh, I get it now. Duh.
Yeah.
My bad. Tap in. You would probably have to send your family members. They would have to buy a ham radio as well if they're out of state or someplace else. I don't know where exactly you're talking about, so that you guys can link up.
I will go online once you get your ham radio and go to the NOAA. What is it?
NOAA.
NOAA. Yeah, go to your state. Look up your state channels, That's
You
how
can do a search. There's a site you can go to and do a search of all your local channels. I mean,
And then you got your county. Make sure you got your county channels also.
those are the ones I programmed into my radio so that every time I turn them on, the first thing it goes to is the NOAA channel.
Frequency mode, weather, temperature.
So it has all those frequency codes that you can look up and search, and you can use that application called Chime. It makes it relatively easy to go through and program your radio for all those local stations. So I have, Bear County Police, Fire Department. I have, of course, NOAA on there and a couple other things. And it's kind of interesting to scan and listen to some of that stuff sometimes, but it really does come in handy. You just have the line of communication as to what's going on because,
Hey, Zach. Hey, XD.
What's going on, Zach? If you got somebody coming in, hey, there you go.
Hey, Hookah. Nice job, $2.
Hey. I heard radios.
Yeah.
Somebody say something
Radio
about
Man.
Don't forget to replace the items you use, $2.
Oh, one of the things I wanted to say too, batteries. I know I use January 1st as a day to check all my batteries on all my red dots, my devices, electronic devices. So I go through and make sure I change all those batteries and all those devices. So whatever date you choose, pick a date. Make sure your batteries are fresh. Make sure you have backup batteries in all your devices, anything you're going to depend on. So pick a date. Mine, like I said, it was January 1st. I went through and did all that. So make sure you do those things.
Oh, yeah. I think mine, the temperature also.
Hey, Hookah, what's going on?
What's going on?
Not much. I heard radios and kind of stuff.
So Tappan asked, he said he has family members out of state, so if he got a ham radio, they just need to get a ham radio as well. To link or tap into each other. Or would a C?
I think probably a CB would be better, or come a little bit more. And, you got repeaters and stuff.
Right.
It all depends on the footprint, right? So if they have the same frequency, like one frequency in one place, it may be the same frequency, but because the footprints are different places, unless it's like a high frequency radio or something like that,
right?
It's going to be a little more difficult. They need something like a satellite type radio or something like that, where it'll go up and then come on down, depending on the spot beam they're in. So something like a Trump mobile system, but those get really expensive.
They're really expensive. So my thing is like a CB radio.
CB would be probably your best bet.
Best, money wise. Satellite radio runs like thousands, 800 and up.
Yep.
Then you have to pay for the subscription to it.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's what you want to do. If if you have it, I mean, go for it. It's always good to have, but
budget friendly.
Yeah,
CB.
I got a CB also. CB radio. It's the Midland. It's got 19 channels. Yeah, 19 channels. So that's something good to have, but it takes like 9 batteries.
It's gonna be, and you got to factor in weight. You got there's certain radios you can take out there with you with a nice clip antenna, but you're gonna add about 30 more pounds to your payload.
Absolutely. Jeremy, yeah, you can. If you can get a empty paint can, I think they sell them at Home Depot because it has the metal lid versus the the plastic lid. You just take the toilet paper, you put it inside there. When you are ready to use it, you add the alcohol to it, and you light it. It'll be a source of heat as well. And if it's too much, if the flame is too much, you just add some rocks on top of it to break the flame up a little bit, and then you can lower it. But it's really easy to make. It's really easy to put in your house and just have, in case you need it. But definitely a source of heat. You got to take the middle out, the cardboard out of it. Yeah, those are definitely good. Terracotta pots. You get the terracotta bottom, the actual plant holder.
Mm-hmm.
You could put I have it over there.
Candles in there, and it heats up.
Yeah. Those sternums that you use to heat the food up, you could put some inside there. Get the one with the hole that's on the top, and it radiates heat through the terracotta, and it heats up the space. You can get Crisco and some mason jars, large mason jars. transfer the Crisco over, get some candle wicks or a birthday candle, long birthday candles, whatever size jar you used to use. Put it down the middle, and that'll warm your house up for maybe 2 to 3 days, depending on the size of the jar that you use.
Mhm.
It's cheap, it's easy to make, but it's definitely comes in handy should you need some light or fire.
Cinder blocks can also be used. You can make a little oven and stove. I got to get that
Yeah.
project done. I want to put that on my balcony and see how that works.
Exactly.
And that one site for the radio frequencies, one of them is radioreference.com. And you can go to your state, local, county, and go out and see what those local channel frequencies are. And like I said, I got Chime on there. I went through. It's very easy to import information and data and put it on your phone. If you have, make sure you have the adapter that comes with it. It's pretty easy to program these things so that you can have at least some information for your local agency, state police, or local police, fire department, NOAA, and stuff like that. So that's one of the sites that helped me to get some of that programming done.
Mhm. That's good to know.
And that's NOAA. NOAA's my first station, so it gets constant updates. So as soon as it comes on, it goes to my NOAA channel. So
Yeah. Zach, if you in here, come on in. Can you drop the link for Zach?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he already-
BP does some good stuff too.
yeah. What's good with you?
What's going on, y'all?
hey, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Oh,
What going on good this evening?
talking about survival stuff.
Every time I see that NY, it makes me smile.
Right?
Thank you.
That's dope right there.
Yeah, man. Just going over some survival stuff that we did last year. You know, we're bringing in stuff that, you know, people should have or just, you know, need to make sure, reiterate it over and over.
Yeah, I heard BP talking about checking batteries. I was doing that too. It's funny. He said I was checking batteries, going through my bag in the car, making sure that the food in there is still good.
You gotta do it.
I like to keep those packs of tuna, those like freeze dry. I like to keep those in there, making sure that they still good. They still good for at least another year.
Yeah, check
Oh,
those
you're
things.
all good. You're all good.
Yeah.
And make sure your batteries are lithium. Get those lithium brands. I see them. They come and go. So make sure it's like ammunition, you know.
Yeah.
1 minute you look over there, there's lithium. Next minute, it's the regular. So, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're picking out equipment, look at that too. Those alkaline batteries, they do break up and corrode over time. So they can actually destroy your equipment if you're not taking care of and monitoring that.
I've had that problem.
When
I've
you're
had that problem before.
picking out your equipment, look at that. Say, okay, is this something I'm going to have long term? Do I want this versus that? So maybe the cost difference is worth it. So you're not having to replace those in the future. Because I've had tons of flashlights and stuff that get ruined because the batteries, leak or whatever.
Quantavia said, what's the agenda for the year? To me, you want to go? You guys go first. Oh,
You first.
Oh, me, the agenda is based on you. Survival is everyday life. If you can broaden your survival chances by being prepared, having a plan ahead of time, when stuff does happen, you're ahead of the game. You don't have as much stress. Your stress may be other things versus we don't have. Your stress may be, what's our next move? What's going on in my location? Do I need to move or do we stay put? You change the stress level game. Your agenda should be for whatever it is that's going on in your house to make that environment as safe as possible, as survivable as possible for you and your loved ones.
Yeah.
Prepping is not easy. I'll say this over and over, but if you start with just a few things, you'll be surprised. Every time you go out, you just pick up something. Not everything in prepping is expensive. And Crisco, you can get a big can of Crisco and make you like 10 or 5 candles, depending on the size. Now you have fire, you have warmth, you have light. Move on to the next thing. Foil. Foil is very important to have. So it's like, say, look at what's going on in your house, what you use most. Find those things and just stock up on it. We laugh about the toilet paper, and many people say you can rip up pieces of cloth, but you're so used to just grabbing that little piece of roll of paper and handling your business. If you can avoid ripping up stuff, buy your toilet paper, stack it up. get your communication in order, survival things, your fire, your water, and your wipes, your
Wet
food.
ones.
Yeah, get those things together. Get mostly important, get with a community so that when stuff does happen, you have an outreach of people that can assist you, whether it's verbally or physically. You know, get in tune with what's going on around the world. Just because you think you're safe, you're not safe. You're in a false bubble of
Security.
thinking, right, that it can't happen. Like everybody said, oh, America's great, nothing can ever go wrong with here. Look at what is going on and realize all those things have side effects.
Yep,
Those side effects,
domino effects. A
right?
lot of those things are triggers that lead us to where we are now. And if you don't know, if you know ahead of time, you can get prepared. And like Carbon says, that decreases your stress level because you're kind of preparing. There's a lot of Canadian prepper, angry prepper, a lot of guys out there that are talking about these international, worldwide events that we should be paying attention to and getting prepared for so that we don't have that stress of, oh my God, what's going to happen? Well, we know what's going to happen. So let's get ready for it.
Yeah, get your ammo, get your firearms. You know, that's hand in hand. It's one is not good without the other. You can have a ton of stuff and you don't have any firearms to protect it, you're going to be crap out of luck. You can have firearms in the world and you have nothing to survive.
Yeah.
I mean, go out there and go take it, but you don't know who you run into in the street. You don't know their level of survival either. You don't know what they're willing to do to survive. And excuse me, once people are put, you know, your back is against the wall, you got kids to go home and feed. You become very violent.
And they're doing, like we say, we call them PZs, panic zombies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're no different from the regular zombies. Panic
That's the
zombies.
zombie horde they talk about, not the, you know, those are the ones that are looking to, you know, take advantage.
Yeah.
Let's go to North Florida.
And
For
you can
me,
see that
it's,
because- go ahead, BP. Go ahead, bro.
for me, it's
In North Florida.
more training and practical application. Okay, I have a lot of stuff, but I want to test everything that I have practically. Get out there in the field and practice those things. Get more training, get more education, get more practical application. So for me, that's what I'm pushing this year. You know, maybe even going ahead and getting a couple of instructor, get out of my hole and being so shy, and maybe trying to share that information. So getting the instructor cert so I can share some information and even learn more, because as an instructor, just like in martial arts, you always learn from your students. So that helps me to be prepared even more. So that's my thing for this year. Practical application, continue to, you know, prep, but application, testing, and making sure this stuff works. And I'm used to doing it, and I can feel confident with my skill set and improve on my skill set. So that's me this year.
My agenda is similar to BP's because I used to do it all the time. I have so much different stuff, and I used to test it. That was always my thing. That's why when I say you could take a life straw and drink a puddle of water in the street, I don't know that because I just think I know that. I know that because I had the balls to go do it.
There you go.
Ew.
And I was
Gotta do it, Carmen.
You're right, though. Absolutely right. I'm just being a girl.
Yeah, but I did it, and it's just practical application. And this year too, I think I want to focus a little bit more on physical fitness.
Yeah,
'Cause I got
definitely.
my own journey going on with that, but I think I'm gonna focus a little bit harder on it because over the last couple years, 2 years, I haven't really focused. I was really into it and moving in a real good direction, and the whole can't go nowhere, can't do anything. You kind of messed me up.
Mhm.
So that's one of the things that's the most important thing I think for this year that I'm gonna try to buckle down again because I'm still moving around. I ain't moving around like I used to because they crazy here in Ohio, man. I don't know. I was just in the store and I was listening to some of the conversation and I'm like, oh man, they wild. So, but
It's
still,
everywhere, man. It's crazy everywhere right now.
yeah, just gotta do what I need to do. But yeah, practical application and physical fitness. I gotta put that back and make that important again.
Mhm. Koi said something. He said most survival-minded people are in the mindset to protect. Absolutely. North Florida Tactical. He's an instructor. Can you hop on for a second and talk to the people since you're an instructor?
Yeah.
Medical base
He's
as
doing a
well.
lot of good things on Instagram. If you guys aren't following him on Instagram and YouTube,
Oh yeah.
get out there because he puts out a lot of good information. I know they have classes that they offer online. So
Come on in.
excellent source of getting some of that, you know, emergency medicine, that, you know, training and information that we need to have that can save your life or somebody else's life. So, you know, take advantage of that. The brother has a lot of good information that he's putting out there.
Guns in the hookah.
What's up?
Yes, Quantavious. Yeah.
What's your agenda for this year, Hookah?
Well, while we're still civil,
Exactly.
Yeah.
fiscal readiness. That's the first thing I'm doing is fiscal readiness. Investing, lots of investing, getting rid of unnecessary debt, getting rid of unnecessary crap. I'm also doing physical. I'm looking at taking a martial art this year.
Yeah.
Um,
Join us.
yeah. And just put my money where my mouth is, man. Just
Hi,
practice.
TK.
I may take advantage of like NRA or USCCA. At least their tools.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna come up with a couple of courses myself for firearms, more firearms education, not more the tactical training or the training period, just more education of the firearm. And it'd be mad cheap, you know, like $20 or something like that. I have maybe like a master class online. People pay the $20. Be a private chat, and we could talk about firearms. I'll go over the firearms, basic stuff. There won't be any shooting involved. It'll just be, like I said, that's what I call education versus training. That's one of the things I'm going to do, because I did instructing when I was in the military, as far as just instructing, period. So, and I find I'm ever going to get around to doing that daggone. I want to do this when we get to Nashville. I do want to do a class on, you know, getting your pace count.
Yes.
So I'm going through my stuff now, put a little PowerPoint presentation together, have an easel out there, do, you know, my magic markers, and we'll just talk about it. And then we'll actually do practical where we go outside, people actually get their actual pace count. So they'll know how to be able to, if they got to walk somewhere, they'll be able to get there. Now, I know with the plague messed a lot of stuff up, you know, but the biggest thing you got to work on is your mental, right? Because
Always.
the plague is one thing, but what if you get hit with we got with a biological, but what about a nuclear or chemical attack where your alternative is to stay put or risk going out in a contaminated environment and getting killed, right? So you got to build your mindset up to be able to sit tight for days, if not weeks at a time, if needed, right? And only go out when you absolutely have to. I think we got comfortable.
Super.
We've got spoiled. So when something like that happened, we weren't ready for it mentally. And you know, that's not just here stateside, but I'm talking society globally. We got too comfortable. Where places where they're not less developed, let's just say that for lack of a better term, are used to that kind of simple life. Right? So they're more prepared for it. They're used to being in areas where the water isn't plentiful or even clean, right? So they found ways around it to do that. I think we got to kind of go back to our primitive ways of thinking as far as using the tools and talents that we had so we don't become primal. Right. So it's definitely a mind thing that we got. That's one of the things I'm trying to strengthen my mind. That's why I'm looking at the martial arts. So I can strengthen my mind. Because I know I had a slight bit of anxiety from work and home and all that stuff. So I need certain things like that to keep my mind sharp, right? With the plague, the thing is called brain fog. I do have a little bit of that. I'll sometimes forget things 2 minutes later. That was just, you know, so.
But that's what that is. I thought I was just getting old.
Well, that too. Factor that in as well. Zach.
Y'all still young, man. Come on, man. Y'all still young.
You know.
On that martial arts tip, I like to speak on that. I've been, practicing and, doing that since I've been 13. I'm not 13 anymore. I'm almost, 50 years past that right now. And it really does. That does put you on the path to strengthen your mind, body, and spirit. It really does get you focused. It really does get you to a point to where you're calm and you're level-headed, and that's the whole point of it. It teaches you a way of being, no matter what form you take, and how whatever it is, it just gets you to a point to be focused. So I think that's something that we all, whatever that form of martial arts is, there are tons out there, but getting that so that you can train that mind, body, and spirit, so that we can get through things. You know, every time you get exposed to something or something comes at you, you just don't fall apart. So, you know, I commend you to that, and hopefully, you know, all of us have that, and or go back to that, or you know, find that way to train ourselves. So, yeah, definitely do that, man. Looking forward to
Mindset.
And
And well, like I'm prepared for this year is basically my mindset is on focusing what I used to do in the service.
Right.
And a lot of people look at me like, yo, man, how can you drive 13 hours and a half without taking a break?
Right.
Well, I learned that in Blackwater. It's mindset. You have to learn things, you know, you have to bring that forth. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to be working on instructor intense training.
Right.
Duration, you know what I'm saying? How is your body under pressure?
Right.
Can you do this under pressure? Can you do this when you're necessary? Can I take this step? Can I walk here? I need to use the bathroom. No, you don't have to do that. You also have to pressurize and understand who you are.
That's true.
And you know, that's my mindset. My goal for this year is just
No doubt.
keeping myself focused, man. Because like I said, you know, when this, like you said, plague broke out, I was prepared for 2015. All I had to do was go down to the basement and pull up the bag and hand out, you know, the respirators and stuff.
Mhm.
Things like that. I've been like looking and talking to people off the grid and stuff like that. And other races been, you know, giving me pointers on this is what you need, this is what you need to do, this is what we have. Oh, okay, all right.
Mhm.
So I take those nitpicks and keep it moving.
Right. But with the I'm with you on that. Yeah. But we also know, like, when you talking about like driving, taking breaks, don't stay overnight nowhere. Continue to drive, but definitely you want to stop and stretch. You want to keep your body stretched, because you don't want something like DVT to happen.
Yeah, true. I got you.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I'm not. You don't want to stop every 2 hours.
Yeah, Jay.
Unless you have to. You want every 350 miles, right? That's what we had to do when we was TDY.
Yeah.
And you're driving somewhere every 350. What's going on, shooter? 350 miles. Get out, stretch. You know, every time you get gas, stretch.
Oh yeah, that's the gas stretch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just stretch, and that's probably the times you need to stop with is when you get
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
It's about 300 miles, 350 miles on some, depending on your vehicle.
Yeah.
Get to about a quarter of a tank. Go ahead and fill up if you can. Stretch some more. Walk around, because DVT ain't nothing to play with, and that can lead to a pulmonary embolism, and that is something none of us want to have to deal with.
And you know the most dangerous part of me when I
That's
used
true.
to drive
So true.
is contemplation. It's like saying I can drive for a long time for a new place.
Right.
And if I got to come down or go somewhere and see Zach up in Ohio, I
Right.
can do that drive.
Right.
But driving back and forth to the mall or to the grocery store, that's what I got to worry about.
Right. Absolutely.
And just to clarify, he's talking about DVT, deep vein thrombosis. That comes when
Yeah.
you're sitting in one position for a long period of time,
Oh yeah,
not movement. If your circulation's already impaired,
get that numbness.
blood starts to stagnate and it could form blood clots.
Yeah.
And one of the things that most deadly things is those blood clots form and they go in through your vasculature and they block your pulmonary artery or pulmonary vein. And then that's like you're gone. There's nothing that they can do about that, especially if you don't get to a facility where they can diagnose that, give anticoagulants. So those are widow makers, you know. And I've seen people. I had a close friend who died from that. So, you know, it's something to be taken seriously, especially if you're not active. That's why activity is so important.
Right.
Be physically active. That increases those chances. But if you're on certain medications and things of that nature, you got to really look out for that kind of thing. So,
No question.
especially as we get older.
We all definitely. I'm with Zach also with, you know, doing some more physical fitness. So that's going to be the martial art part for the mental fitness, but physical fitness. I use the biggest gym out there, man. It's outside, you know, just
Yeah.
There you go. Everything's there, man.
things available out there. Do some chin ups on one of those street lights or something like that if you can reach it. If they're low enough, and just use what you can, man. Use what you can, and practice walking in boots.
Yeah.
Practice walking in boots.
Because it's different. It's a different balance. It's different. It's different. You have to acclimate yourself for that for sure.
Yeah, anything outside of sneakers. I mean, and take care of your feet. I mean, that's the biggest thing.
And like I said, loadout. Do your loadouts and go to the range outdoors. Get that weather, rain, sleet, or snow.
Yes, indeed. Redfish, what up?
Rain, sleet, or snow.
So,
Get that. Yeah, definitely. I'd say for people who are in warmer climates, if it gets cold, go outside.
And that's what I'm going tomorrow. It's a little colder down here in San Antonio, so I'm going to the outside range tomorrow because we don't get opportunities to do stuff when it gets cold. So I know that's a weakness for me because I've never been in real cold weather. So
because
make sure your feet are warm.
Yeah, make sure your feet. Yeah, make sure you take care of them feet. So
I got my boots. I got my
Break those boots in.
feet
Yeah.
and
I'm breaking
fingers.
my
You know
knees.
what?
You need to-
You can, if you have leather ones, you could just put it on your feet, put some water over it.
Yeah.
It'll mold to your feet. So when you put them on, they're a little bit more comfortable.
Quick question.
Mhm.
I was going to buy a pair of new boots, and I don't know whether the pros and cons of getting waterproof versus not waterproof. Anybody have any expertise on whether or not you should be trying to get those or not?
I like
I like. Well, I gotta tell you, there's a company because I got big feet. So there's a company called
Hold on, let me go get
what it's
mine.
called, and they make these hiking boots. They're waterproof. They're totally sealed. They don't have any rough edges on the inside. They're made for people who have diabetes, so your feet don't get beat up.
Right.
And man, they are the most comfortable. I mean, because there's literally no seams on the inside. It's like putting yourself inside like a shoe inside of a big, like super heavy duty sock. And it's waterproof. It's comfortable. It's warm.
Does it breathe? Does it allow your feet to breathe still?
Yep.
Or?
It's made for diabetics.
Okay.
When I read about it and I saw about it with that company, it's not a brand that you may have never heard of. But it's called ProPet, PROPT, or it might be PET.
Okay.
And they make it's like a diabetic hiking boot. And man, that boot is amazing.
Nice.
Now this is a combat, all-purpose, multi-purpose bomb.
Is it 511?
No, this is Under Armour.
Okay.
I got my armor as
Well,
well.
it's got the steel shank and everything. Now then you have the Hunters. It's all around.
Mhm.
You can see these are
Yeah.
insulated and everything like that. You
So
know,
the other
they're
one-
both waterproof and everything, but this one here is, your acclimate weather. When you want to move and everything. Both of them, you just got to try out. I've broken both of them in. I feel comfortable with them.
Right.
Year around summertime, now these are excellent, good time and this, but winter I got these.
Are they steel toe or no?
Yes. One's composite, one's steel shank there.
Yes, sir. You're right.
And got built the cover. As you can see, this is Kevlar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely want that steel toe.
Mhm.
If I'm not mistaken.
Shank insert, so make sure you don't get any penetrating type injuries to the body.
And these have your ankle shanks on the side there, making sure if you hit a trap, a fox trap or something, it won't take it.
I want to take your foot.
Yeah.
And steel toe is the reason. This is what I heard about steel toe. The reason that steel toe is better than regular is that if you, let's say your foot gets dropped on your foot really heavy.
Yeah.
Instead of your toes being crushed, the steel will drop and chop your toes off.
That's
You
fact.
can have them stitched back on. You can't do nothing with no smushed toes. They're done.
I seen a dude on an aircraft carrier happen to him.
Yeah, crushing type injuries are hard to treat. Yeah, sure.
So it's better to have steel toe. So if something drops on it, if it does cut your toes off, instead of
You have to
smashing it,
switch.
you can have reattach.
You
You
got
never talk to marketing about that advertisement, but
Yeah. Like that.
I can tell
No.
yeah, it makes sense though.
Oh, you definitely have
Injuries are hard to
socks.
treat.
They will cut your toe off, but you can sew them back on.
Your toes get chopped off. But, I
And
mean,
the reason why they building the boots some more, I learned too this service too, and doing special operations Lockheed Martin. They aim for your feet because you bleed out quicker.
yep.
Mm.
A lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
You must start hitting them feet and everything because the blood circulates. It has nowhere to go when it gets down to the bottom.
Foot injuries, no fun, no good.
Yeah.
Especially crushing type injuries.
Warm socks. What do you guys recommend?
Wool. I like merino wool.
I like wool.
That's
Yeah.
when you like the best wool.
Wool socks are they stay dry longer.
That's the way they're structured. They have like a scale type structure, so it doesn't allow water to get in between there. So cotton socks, they're good, but once they get wet, they're saturated. They don't have those air spaces, which decrease the amount of moisture,
I heard some
keeping your foot dry. So wool allows you to do that more efficiently. And it's always recommended to have those wool socks on in those situations. So because hypothermia, when your foot is wet, it's going to cause all kinds of issues besides hypothermia. It's going to cause other issues too, swamp foot, other kind of stuff that you're going to get because of that moisture inside the shoe. So
that jungle rot.
Jungle rot. I've seen
Another reason why you like waterproof boots.
Yeah.
All that.
Man, tear your feet all this shit.
Yeah.
Just nasty.
And even just like blisters and stuff, when you feel like Carbon says, break those boots in, because you see people come up as a medic in the Air Force. We had the Marines and the Air Force guys come in with their feet just tore up, just basic lack of taking care of their feet. Simple things end up with serious infections on their feet, losing toes, and having to go into the hospital because they have
gangrene.
It's like, so you got to take care, break them in, make sure they fit properly, don't get them too small or too big. You want to take the time to make sure that you try those things on and see how they work. Don't have them in the box and then go out when something hits the fan and think you got to throw them on and be able to move. You got to be tore down quickly.
Always give yourself some room in your boots, because after walking or hiking, your feet are naturally going to swell.
Exactly.
You want to give them some space to breathe as well.
And then if it's cold, you're wearing extra socks. How can you wear extra socks if you have their skin tight, from the first place? So
baby powder for sure.
Baby powders always, kind of things you can use. So Dr. Scholl's have some good powders, so you got to take care of your feet, man. It's like they always say, that's the Army. I know they push that.
You got to take the feet.
Taking care of your dogs.
Yeah.
These boots that I got are old. You know what I'm saying? So just get on the treadmill with them. Whatever you start doing, just start wearing them like sneakers.
I do that big time. I put on my vest. I just ordered a bulletproof vest because I didn't do that previously until I started talking to you guys. I was kind of like gun and hook. I don't need no vest, but I'm like, you see these home invasions, and a lot of these guys, when they come in the door, guess what they have on? Bulletproof.
Fully tactical.
They
stepped the game up.
But yeah, definitely get on that treadmill with my, my chest rig and one of my firearms and start trucking.
That's on point, man. That's what
I probably still ain't gonna get no damn vest.
The price will come down. They had a really good sale over the holiday. It was like they're almost giving them away, and really good vest. So, to me, if your opponent has something, you might want to get at least that equal level, if not better. You don't want to be at a disadvantage at any point. And when you see these guys come in, they're vested down, man. So you may be dumping that 9 in the chest, but they got a level, 4 or 3.
I prefer my vest to carry a lot of magazine pouches. That way I can grab what I need.
Yeah, that kind of vest is good. I'll do that. As far as getting AR-500 plates,
that's what the Molly is for. I had it on my vest. I got to put 6 mags on the front. And more if I wanted to.
Yeah. I'm not toting that box.
My chest rig. This is my chest rig, and I wear a vest under that. But mine is a lot of medical. I think I have 1, 2, and then in the back another med kit. So I have extra med for myself, extra med for other people, and supplies. So I have heavy med, but then I also have multiple packs for my communication, phone, and I also have my Leatherman on there, and then I have my ammunition up in the front. So whether it's AK loadout, right now it's set up for AR-15 and my 9. So you gotta get that equipment, put it on, get on that treadmill, because it really does show you where you have hot spots, where stuff is pinching you, where stuff is poking, so you can adjust, your rig so that it fits you well, and when you get out there. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's true. I just hate wearing. I wear that shit so much. I'm tired of wearing that shit. Shit heavy.
Hey, I said the same thing, man. But I got out there on that treadmill and look nowadays, and you see some of these little kids, and be like, "Good gracious, really?" You know what I'm saying? So it's just a blessing that we can do what we can do, man.
Yeah.
Right.
And the thing is, right now you see, before it's like, when you got my age, people will at least will leave you alone. Now they're straight, bum rushing people my age, and they don't care. So, you have to be prepared, and I may not be able to, fight 3 or 4 guys off like I did before, but if somebody comes at me, I want to be at least in some level of physical conditioning so that at least I can, protect myself and try, get out of that situation. So
Well, BP, you know what? The great don't play.
That's right.
Like I got one of my buddies. He's NYPD, and they just had a big case. There was this guy. He stomped out this older gentleman. This guy was just out getting cans. He was older gentleman. I think he might have been almost 70 something. Just stomped off for nothing. Killed for no reason at all.
Come on, man.
Catch him. It was like he was real proud of that because he was like he wanted to get that guy. He has a real affinity for senior citizens, and big thing. He went and they found the guy. He caught him. It was he was real proud of that he caught him.
Hopefully they touched him up a little bit
before. Man, I think about that. What if it's my mother or my father?
Thank you.
It's one of you guys. Like I don't want that to happen to anybody, man.
Thank you.
No, it's true.
Can you highlight Dexter Pickens' comment? He has 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dexter, what's up?
That's the question right there. Now, that's the question too. Is I think the most difficult part of this is convincing loved ones to get on the train. Right?
It's hard to do sometimes.
Yep. And that's where the mental part comes in because you may have to leave them behind because you're in survival mode. If they're not willing, not able, but not willing to do it. It's one thing to not be able to. You can be taught being able to. But if you're not willing to, you cannot teach human behavior, right? Now, like me.
E-Money, what's up?
What's going on, E-Money? I'm like, I ain't trying to get no vest. I'll probably mess around and get one, but I ain't get one now. But if I get caught out there without it, I understand this is the situation I put myself in. So I got to be prepared, have alternate solutions to do that, right? But some people may not, I don't want to do nothing. And then they're stuck, and then they become a liability. You may have to sever, and that's a painful thing to do. It's a very difficult thing to do. You think about those zombie movies, right? You family member gets bit, you gotta let them go because they're not a liability, right?
Yeah.
They're no longer the person that you knew. And the same thing with this. If they're not ready for anything to go down, they're not the person you want to do because you're not in the situations you once were. So you have to have that mindset. So a lot of this stuff, like you said earlier, Bench, it's mental. You have to have it in your head that it's going to get nasty. You can't save everybody, even though you're going to want to, especially if it's somebody that you truly love. But you just got to be like, hey, I did everything in my power to get you on board, but you refused.
Harsh reality.
The hardest part about prepping isn't prepping. It's convincing other people.
It's convincing other people to do it.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part.
That's the hardest part.
I stopped trying with the people that I knew outside of this community.
Yeah.
Not one. Everybody that I've found understanding with and a love for and a thrive for it has been here. And that's crazy. Considering like the people that I do know, I'm like, wow, like none of you think that we should be prepping or getting ready for stuff like that?
I've been lucky. I've had a couple people at work that kind of got their eyes open and are like, wow, I need to do this, that, and the other. Like my one friend, Jesus, he's from Mexico and came here, super intelligent guy, real cool guy. And he never had a weapon in his life or never thought about, prepping or this and that and the other. And he was like, Robert, can you, show me or help me with this? So I've had a couple people, and luckily my family, they've come around. Like my son's 16. He started, going with me to the range and doing this and getting into the martial arts and being, patient enough to, go through all the training and stuff like that. So, and my daughters as well. So I've been really lucky. One of the things I do too is like certain weapons. I always make sure he's left-handed. So we have to think about those things. I make sure that weapons that he's going to be able to use are ambi, that they have those controls on them and he's able to use those, even the ones that aren't. But You have to think about those things too. What are maybe some of the limitations or special things you have to do for your family members to get them and get them.
True that. And another thing when it comes to these firearms, learn how to shoot with both hands.
Oh, you got to be able to do that. Yeah.
Your primary hand gets jacked up. You better sure enough have real good control with your secondary one.
Thank you.
You know, so that's the one thing I try to do as well is go back and forth with pistols because I'm stronger with rifles than I am pistols, right, with the handgun. So I try to go, and even though I might be off, but it's still knowing that I can at least get some rounds off.
Oh yeah.
With my
I'm laughing not at you, but I saw this video this week. This man did an attempted armed robbery, but he didn't have any hands. He was holding a weapon with his feet. He was in the wheelchair.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a couple guys like
this really an armed robbery.
Yeah, right? Leg robbery. And there's like you see that one dude that's on a car that be shooting he got 1911, he be shooting with his feet.
In the wheelchair?
Nah, he sits like on his car or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's you'd be surprised when
also the female that shoots with her feet, she has no arms.
There you go.
There you go. It's you know, you gotta think about that. You know, when your primaries is going, I ain't saying go out there practice shooting with your feet, but you'll be surprised at what your body can do when it's missing.
I have seen archery.
Oh yeah, archers do that with the feet too. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw one woman do a handstand while she was shooting with her feet.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, to be able to do that. So
I'm looking at getting a crossbow this year.
Nice.
What's taking y'all so long?
I actually have one. I got it and I sent it back because I was like, I don't have the bandwidth to practice, so I need to go ahead and pick that up.
You know what? I was looking at one the other day in Academy, and the guy deterred me away from it. He was telling me everything I didn't want to hear.
What's the other one? A crossbow, and then there's what's the other one?
Weight, the spring, the weight, the tension. He said if the reel gets broken, I was like, man.
I got a crossbow right here. If you can see it.
Let me see.
Right there.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Now, does it have that reel on it to reel it back, or you have to do that?
Yeah, it does. It has the reel on it, but you can take it off and just do it with your hands. It just makes it easier when you're cranking it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Tappan said we have to prep with the family members that refuse to or prepare to
turn them away. Yep.
Yeah, they're gonna come knocking when stuff hits the fan. You know, they're gonna.
My house ain't the safe house.
Yeah. Never wait for dead weight.
You know how many people say that to you? Oh, something happened. I'm going this out.
They say that to me all the time. I'm like, no.
What you did was waste the trip.
Nope.
Yes.
When nobody else is prepping and you're the only one, it's going to be hard to accept some and then turn away others. So either you're going to have to shut down completely, so it's not an issue, or it's going, you're going to be fighting your own people at that point in time.
You never wait for dead weight.
You can tell them to your blue in the face, and they call you crazy. They call you something's wrong with you. You just think negative, but you're not. You just got to kind of grin and bear it, and still continue doing what you feel you should do.
Yeah, you're right about that, Q. You think of reality. It ain't about you. Oh, you crazy and all. It's reality. You not pay attention what goes around this globe. Are you stuck in your neighborhood where you got Starbucks around the corner and you can get you a Dunkin' Donuts or freaking Walmart or something like that? You're not thinking that stuff. Look at the plague. People lost their damn minds during the plague because they couldn't do nothing, go nowhere. I mean, people who were like mentally prepped, like me, shit. Anybody who's been in the military, anybody who's been in prison, or anybody who's just a serial prepper who's actually had their mindset knows about long waits, knows about not being able to go nowhere. And you gotta have some good books.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Thank God for technology. You still able to get online and communicate, because even before when all this stuff wasn't, when the Zoom stuff wasn't back in the 80s, it wasn't even back in the 90s. Hell, it wasn't even back in the 2000s, right? So you had to figure out ways to not have that stuff, right? Because that wasn't available.
Right.
Can you imagine if COVID-19 happened in 1989?
Right.
I mean, 1991 versus 2021?
We'll be done.
Right?
Yeah.
It'd be pandemonium out there. People lose their minds.
Them can openers
I mean, that whole
price.
That whole
Right, man.
Mhm.
latchkey kid thing. The guy kid can come home after school and just watch cartoons and eat cereal. Oh,
Right.
Those are the people that were surviving. I'm like, okay,
Exactly.
I can't go out. All right,
No problem.
No problem.
You know what I'm saying? You found stuff to do.
right.
You know, read some books. You know, do all exercise, anything you possibly do to keep your mind right. That's why you got them old school games. Never get tired of it. You just got to fix your mind to where
Mhm.
there may be a possibility that you may be stuck and you may have to innovate.
You have to be able to just be sit and be still. Be,
Put your
Cool,
kids,
but
put your
not-
kids in Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. They
Yep.
teach them very valuable information to survive. They
that was huge for me. That was
Yeah,
one of the
I was
biggest
in the
things
Boy
when I was
Scouts
in
for a
Boy
couple of
Scouts,
years.
suicide.
Yeah, I used to be a Boy Scout too.
Yep.
say
Then in the military.
that's where you guys are, right?
Yeah.
E Money.
That's right.
Yep.
Everything that you just named, everything that you just named, E Money is pretty much what you're gonna have to do. Survival dugouts. You can get with a group of people, your family. You can have a bug out area. There's a lot of people that are paying for these. What is it? I forgot what they call them. They're like the trailers. They go underground.
Shipping
Yep.
containers.
They
Yeah,
bury them in the ground in survival shelters. Yeah.
Mhm.
they're using a lot of things to build them. Even the rich are like really going hard with bug out um, areas. They're buying old military bases that store products or your equipment, and then
Yeah.
turning them into actual bug out areas for the rich and famous,
Oh yeah.
or people that have money, billionaires, millionaires, all of that stuff.
Definitely getting all the asbestos.
Look at Follow.
Yeah, yeah.
Fellow.
Yeah,
Explosion.
You know, somebody was asking about outdoor shelters. There's so much that you can do depending on your situation. There's this guy, he goes and he tries to find, those medium spaces like in between freeways and stuff like that, and see if he can set up outdoor shelter. So he'll get like a little, some tarps and some camouflage netting, and he'll use natural foliage and try to find places. And they'll either a lean-to or, a tent with or a small tent or a tarp tent. So there are a lot of different things you can do depending on your situation, but go out and practice some of that stuff. Get your little pup tent, get your little lean-to, get you a tarp, and try to set that up and see how to set it up, how to do some of those things. You can just go out and buy an expensive one, which is, you still got to practice using that. But there's so many things you can do depending on your situation. But there's information out there on it.
get those sleeping bag tents that you attach to the trees.
Yeah.
If stuff hit the fan, just hypothetically saying you got people ripping and running underneath you, take to the trees.
Yeah.
Hook up into the tree. I mean, hook your stuff up into the tree. Sit there, wait it out. Come down when you need to. Have I forgot what they're like, hammocks.
Yeah.
But it's a tent.
Yep.
Have those in your thing. Those are really, if you think about it, very smart to have. Let them rip and run all down there whilst you're up there watching.
Yeah.
It's a good advantage.
Or underground too. There's another, you can build those dugout shelters, especially in where we are, along the, hill line and stuff like that. You can those out, go underneath the ground, not have to dig a whole lot, but have a natural ledge and protection to where you can see things from a large variance. So use what's available, high, low, and get out there and see what you can do.
Bushcraft is great to learn. You could just take everything that's in nature and build a shelter.
Yeah.
Top to bottom.
Yeah. They had this one guy he had a tarp, got the leaves over there. He was like looking for it. Oh, that's a good area. Took all the leaves, drug them over there, started digging out, making a little thing. He had a nice little space under there to where he could see, pretty much everything coming in either direction. And you couldn't even see it because he had, the natural vegetation on it. He had a couple of little pieces of camouflage. And so, or like you said, go high. That's all. Being high is always good above ground. So just find stuff, play with stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It works.
And we're gonna work on that this year. That we're gonna have a few hunters on here. They can let us know what to hunt and when to hunt seasonal. We're not just out there killing animals with rabies and sitting in an open fire. We got to know these things. Not even poison ivy and all that. Things you have to know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Gershon brought up a good joint about doing a camping trip, right? Survival.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking about stuff like that. That'd be cool. That's that put your money where your mouth is type deal. Learn what you can.
Mm-hmm.
Classes out there, And also, we got to think about perimeter guards, roaming guards. We got to think about stuff like that.
security,
Protect. Also, we got a 2 hour or 3 hour
rotations,
4 hour rotation.
security detail.
Yep. We got to think about that kind of stuff. You know,
Because
it
that's
sucks.
what you have.
In the middle of the night, you can barely see. And, you know, you got to worry about all the risks, you know, factors out there. Wildlife is a big one.
That was always fun for me. I used to like to do that. I used to like to be on, you know, that, you know, 12 to 3 detail, you know.
That mid watch.
Detail.
That mid watch.
1 o'clock in the morning.
That mid watch.
You know what I mean?
It's the-
Just like it's dark as hell at night. You can barely see anything at 9 o'clock at night, but 1 o'clock in the morning, your eyes adjust and you can
Yeah,
see
you could just-
everything.
Everything, man.
It's mid watch.
It's like,
Eleni, where are you located? If you're in Florida, I think North Florida Tactical has several different types of training.
Oh, okay, right here.
well, is anybody, I've met these NAGA representatives here in San Antonio the other day when I went and was thinking about that, maybe this year joining an organization like NAGA. I don't know if anybody else has any information or knowledge or is a NAGA member, but I was thinking about doing that. this year.
I'm a member, yeah.
You like it? Is that pretty good?
Benefits of NAGA.
Mhm.
What are the benefits of joining? I've known about NAGA for a long time now. Before NAGA was what they are now. I remember when you could join NAGA and all you had to do was send an email.
Yeah.
It was a
I
long
remember,
time.
I remember when it was just talk. I remember when it was
Right.
like when they were just talking about
Right.
that stuff. And
When Doug used to, you could email Doug and become a member way back in the day.
remember the mission statement mirrored another group I was in.
So is that something you think is something worth joining then, or?
I don't. My thing with him has always been what's the benefit of it?
And that's my question, I guess. What are the benefits of being a member?
I
Can
haven't
we
had
create
anybody
one?
tell me yet.
Because I know now you have to join the national one, which is one fee, and you have to join the local one,
The
which is
chapter one,
another
chapter
fee. And I
Right.
thought that was kind of peculiar. I'm
That's
like,
kind of weird. Isn't it?
Yeah, I remember it was just it was almost like NRA at one time. You just paid one fee,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's you know you use it for what you use it for, right?
So I've been
Even
thinking
if
about
you're not really deeply involved, use the resources, right? Use it for the resources. Same thing with people like, man, NRA is trash, and use the resources.
Right. That's the only reason why I deal with them at all. Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
I was
resources.
back in the day with
Resources.
NRA, but I dropped them off all back. But I used to be
Yeah,
a
and
member.
the thing is, I don't agree with their politics or anything at all. I think they kind of to me, but just having that, it means something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When you're in the right circle and you mention that,
Yep.
it still means something to this day.
the resources, man. So sometimes it's just about the resources.
Correct.
Some of these things, because like you said, the politics can be absolute trash, and they are for
Yeah.
most gun organizations, in my opinion, can be absolutely horrible.
Mhm.
But the resources are there to where you could use that stuff
The VFW.
to build yours, right? To build your classes, to build your training, to build your group. You could use that information. Some of them aren't they're open source, right? So those are the best ones you want to find. You don't want the ones that are too proprietary,
Mhm.
because if you break away, then you have no more access. You're denied. But you want the ones that are more open source, and you can use that information, like I said, to apply to whatever you're going to do. I'd look at just look at the resource guide. You know, I mean, I know people say it's a great substitution to NRA, but they pretty much were like the NRA.
Yeah, it's not in terms of resources and what you can learn and what they offer like that. It's not the same. It's different. That's what I was wondering, BP. Did they tell you any of the benefits or anything like that? Or
Well, they just said, they meet there once every Saturday, once a month, and they just gave me this general information. He says that they have a competition team, which I was looking to get into this year. So that was one of the things that I was maybe interested in. That they do have a team where they go out and do competitive shooting and stuff like that. So, and they have people that are involved in that, and so that was one of the things that I saw that may be beneficial for what I want to do. But besides that, a lot of it's just online information, basic online information. So I was looking into that and just wondering if anybody else had any experience with them.
I don't have much.
man,
Right. I may try it just to see what it's like, and
If anything, for resources.
Dexter has something to say about them. Let's see.
I have the history part down pretty good.
Yeah, I'm saying I can do that myself.
Yeah.
And where they like I'm like me, I'm in Ohio.
Mhm.
Are they big enough to where it's gonna benefit me to go somewhere and be able to have training or have something like that? Because I can go places and get training.
Yeah.
I live in the middle of all that. There's somebody I can go tomorrow and sign up for downtown to sign up to all different type of training classes for bushcraft, everything. They do that here where I am. So that's why I wanted to know what the benefits were. Because I thought about joining NAGA, but I had my own reasons not that I weren't going to. But I'd like to know if the resources have changed, if it's something different than what it was before. It may be an option.
I
Right.
have NAGA, but I'm not in a chapter. I do believe, like Dexter said, more of your training comes from within the chapter part of it. At the end of the day, I guess whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of it.
Right.
So I have used the USCCA as well. To me, they're a little bit more. Well, they're more established, and they're able to, afford you other activities. So I guess at some point, NAGA will get to that point. We'll be neck and neck with them, but I still think it's good to have. If you can have both, just have both. You never know.
I think I'm gonna try it out to see.
And you know what I used to think they were stood for? Need ammunition, and guns administration.
Man, when they started, that's what they were known as.
Right.
A lot of cats in that group didn't have firearms. They were just known.
That's crazy. Ray Fisher made a good point. He said, looking to get in an all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive.
Most
Yeah.
definitely. You haven't done
As well.
Have you guys looked at the price of trucks and used vehicles recently? You can't find them. My used car that I've had for 4 years, they're calling me every day. I paid $26,000 for it. They're offering me $25,000 for it because they don't have any cars on the lots. And I've been trying to find a used truck or car, like a four-wheeler. They're more than used car. The new car prices right now. It's
Shout out to all the people who got all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. Both by
you're ahead of the curve if you got that already.
That's what I got for
it's hard.
Jackie when she needed a new car. Made sure she had an all-wheel drive.
All-wheel drive or four-wheel
We
drive.
had at least one in the house.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we have all-wheel drive.
And that's all part of that supply chain.
And torque.
A lot of that came from the floods. A
Yeah.
lot of car dealerships, a lot of places, and then also they can't get the parts, the
Supply
chips
chain,
for the cars.
They can't get chips and everything else. So that's those worldwide issues that are affecting us locally and nationally because they can't get the chipsets and the parts and the pieces for all this stuff. You can't get these cars. They're waiting lists for new cars, and the used car prices are going up and up and up because there's a shortage of those. So it's But if you can, I'm looking into electric bike also. I know
A lot of preppers are
I'm looking into that also because one, it's silent, and silence is, security a lot of times. So I'm looking into those, especially as the price points are starting to go down. So I am looking at an electric bike.
I got me a good mountain bike, and I'm trekking on that.
Pedal power, hey.
Loading out, just riding.
Pedal power.
Yeah.
People power is always good.
Exercise, keep you in shape.
There you go.
8 cards it was while you guys are asking about NAGA. With as much time as we spend together online, we could start our own organization.
True.
Facts, but factual as well is that when we get together, we kind of fall off. We don't maintain the journey, Sometimes it's hard talking to your own people into doing things that's beneficial for them. Look at prepping, like I'm sorry, I forgot who said it earlier, just getting people on board with prepping.
It's hard to do something like
It's
that.
hard to do. If NAG is here, it's available, it's by us. You would think every person like us would go and support that, but that's not the case, right? So, we got to take the good with the bad. I mean, it's a good idea.
I think too. Also, we should have more than just the annual meetup. We just have another one also with survival training and stuff like that. We meet up,
Yeah.
so that we keep ourselves inundated. That we, keep us posted, fresh.
You gotta start somewhere.
Choose wherever you want to go.
We need to get land. Without land, we're be asked out. You can prep for everything, but if you don't have any land to put that bug out,
Right. You ain't got nowhere to go.
Bug
like
out location, shooting ranges, safe security areas. Yeah, that's
See, right now that's so funny because of the taxes, and here in Tennessee you got so much land, but you can have land here and it's in between counties.
yeah,
And then you have to pay city and county tax, and you're like, hold on. It's like some counties do and some don't. Like where I live in Knoxville, you just don't pay that. But you go over to the next county, you have to pay state and county taxes. So,
and then water rights and mineral rights too. What I'm finding, I'm looking at a lot of land here in Texas. A lot of the places and areas where I want to go, you don't maintain water or mineral rights. So you're basically leasing the surface dirt, and the water you have to allow them. They have to allow you to tap in and build your wells, and they can use it and control it and monitor how much you're using. Same with any mineral rights for that. So we have to be aware when we're going out and looking for these areas. Make sure we have full rights on those, and water and electrical and everything else is
right.
able to do that reasonably at a reasonable price. So
A bug out community, you need people of all kinds of backgrounds.
oh, definitely.
So that you can do those things like you're just saying. Once we have somebody that knows that stuff, and we can kind of tweak it to work for us, that's a beautiful thing. But how many communities do you know that we have? We're here like every Saturday. We have yet to talk about buying land. We have yet to talk about, I think Gershon and Juice and Black Dexter been shooting. They're going to do a class or a bug out weekend where you can bring yourself and have actual hands-on training how to set those things, just basic stuff.
Yeah.
We have all this equipment, but nobody's ever actually set up a tent by
The most
themselves.
I've done 2 weeks out, pack it in, pack it out. So 2 weeks is not too long, but it's not living forever. So we need to test our stuff, like you said, test our equipment, test what it's like to actually be out there, packing your stuff, packing it in, packing it out, carrying it on your back, cleaning, building fires, getting rid of your waste, this, that, and the other. So like
Here we go. We got Sean here, bro.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Sean?
Tell them to come in and do this thing.
I'm looking at his statement. He said other people can survive in and out, but we wouldn't be able to survive unless we had a house or a building. I think the saddest part about that is that you have to be forced into doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
If it came to the
Shouldn't
point
be
where that you had to do it, I think people would be able to do it. I shouldn't have to force you though, because now everything shit done hit the fan, and now we have to do it.
Yeah.
Why can't you? Why can't you prepare ahead of time?
That's too steep of a learning curve at that point. It's like we need to
Right.
take care of business. We can't be training people on the fly.
I mean, we all hungry and it's cold and it's raining. I ain't got time to be teaching you nothing. I need you to step up and do what you know to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And then if you say it in the wrong tone, they'll get an attitude. It's like, I don't
Right.
have time to be, please, can you move your funky ass?
Another thing, like if you just get the proper
Hello.
guidance, you become an asset now. So like even if you had to leave your dwelling and go someplace else and you bump into some other people, you have something to bring to the table. If you don't have a skill, you have equipment. If you don't have equipment, you have a skill. Like put yourself in a winning position at some point in time. Texas has a lot of land, yes.
Ah,
Hey.
One
Oh, what up?
is the grid.
Yeah.
Is the grid, a good place? Texas is a good place because of the grid. It has a lot of land. Granted, yes. Pretty much affordable land too if everybody put their money together and buy the land. However, will that grid support us? Are we going to bug out to a place where we don't have a grid? Are people ready for that?
I
We'll look
think
into it.
Tennessee, then you look at that national map and you look at survival places in the United States.
Yeah.
Tennessee gets rated like the #1 place. It's centrally located. There's hilly areas, there's water, there's vegetation, there's flora, fauna that's conducive for survival. So in a lot of places, but like you said, we have to kind of be on one accord and say, hey, this is important enough for us to work together and do this, because other communities have already done.
They jumped on it. They are on it.
They practice. Every weekend I see these trucks rolling out here in San Antonio, going to the hills, and they have the little patches and this and that. You know what they're doing.
You know
They're,
that.
they're
I've seen
serious.
it.
Right?
I've seen it here.
And I'm not complaining about them. I'm saying we
No, I'm not. I'm saying we need to be.
Right. We
like, hey, let's do it, right? Like we should.
Because right down here where I live at, it's called Windrock Camping and Gun Range. They have a camping facility and a gun range, all in one. You can rent dirt bikes, four wheelers. You got camping houses, lodges you go to. Then you got the outdoor gun ranges, fishing. What's going on?
What's up, Gershon?
Go,
What
Sean.
you doing, man?
Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
It don't seem like it.
I was gonna do my Gershon
Driver's
impression too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, why don't you go and get up in here with your funky ass? Gotta wait for him to come back on and do it.
Man, we did another one, man. It's been a blessing.
Well, it's always, always.
Even in the new year,
Let's
Yeah.
do this in 2022, people. Let's,
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely. Yeah, for those, definitely get you all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. Make sure it's got torque.
Yeah,
You can pull a nice payload with that vehicle as well.
that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And that mindset.
You will put
Been
your
on them all-wheel drive. I had all-wheel drive for the last 20 years, man. I ain't never looked back.
Yeah.
Now I got, I went from a V6 truck to both V8s.
Yeah,
A lot of torque.
Lots of power, lots of torque.
Yep.
there it is.
Have 6,000 pound payloads, mid-size, not too big,
Mm-hmm.
and they're perfect. Right.
Yeah.
I would love to give me a full-size pickup.
Macon, Georgia. Gotta get down there, man. I know North Florida, they did a thing in Houston not too long ago. So, and I know I think they said Oklahoma, and then there's somewhere on the West Coast they also do training too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking for that next course to try to get hooked up with those brothers.
Oh yeah, we get together and set this up and just plan it and get everything ready this year.
And also, there's a brother in Dallas. What is that? Body by O.
Yeah.
I got it. I want to do at least one a quarter, so I want to get in his course first. That's going to be the first thing. I'm going to probably take a PTO day and drive up to Dallas and take his course. And I'm thinking either the combat shotgun course. I think he has medical with that, or I think he has a combat rifle course that he has.
He's been around for quite a while. He's a wealth of knowledge. I've been watching that brother for quite a few years now.
Who's that?
Body Bio.
I just learned about him, I think, from Gershon Tactics when he had him on there. I hadn't ever ran across him, so yeah, he's impressive from what I've
I
seen.
know he used to be one of the NAGA trainers.
Okay.
Oh,
In the
okay.
day.
Nice. Okay.
I'll tell you who else is a beast out there that's globally known. Hank Hayes. Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Dude, man.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's going on?
What's
man?
What's going on, man?
He's like, when you get done with his training, it's time to go to work, man.
Hank Hayes.
Hank Hayes.
That intense. That's the intense training.
Denstra, you want to get that high speed, he trains elites across the globe.
Wow.
Yeah, that brother is nice with it. So,
Operators and shit.
Yep.
Contractors.
yep.
Yeah.
SWAT, he trains them all. He trains the trainers of those organizations, man. He's a beast. His classes are insane.
There you go.
He does edge weapon training too, huh?
Yeah, he does it all, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Humble as all get out.
Yeah, you got to get your feet wet, man, on some of that stuff, man. Like I said, I did a lot of training, and I was blessed because to see where they put me in, and I was like looking around, like, wait, I'm the only one. I feel like Bashar, the first black diver. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll go with this.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, I can't stay on long. I gotta get ready for my wife's graduation, man. But I did just want to get on here and say, man, shout out to y'all and everything y'all doing. I just wanted to come on here and show my support and my love to y'all, man. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. We definitely need to be hands-on with this survival thing for real. Because I be talking to MHP about it, and that's just something we need to learn as a community, We need to get our survival skills up. Because if stuff ever hit the fan, I know I want to have people that I can rely on that train the same way that I train and we all up to speed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Dependable. Have that network built. You're right, brother.
Mhm.
You want to tell them a little bit about your the survival camp you're gonna have coming up?
Yeah, so basically I'm just trying to get people to come out here to Dallas. I got some parks in mind. I have the exact one that we're going to use, but I've been in talk with like 3 or 4 of them just to make sure we got a place to camp at. And so basically when y'all get here, I want to do like some CPR classes and just different type of classes, learn how to make some fires, things of that nature, and just set up some tents and just see where we at with our survival skills, you know?
Yes, sir. I look forward to it, man. I can't wait.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Share
And
that
if y'all
information.
got, and I know y'all guys big on the survival stuff, so maybe MHP or you, Carmen, or Black Poindex can give us some pointers on how to use them ham radios and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Hoopla.
So
Yeah.
I
Hoopla.
definitely
Yeah.
want to have some courses while y'all here too, so we can walk away with some skill sets under our belts for those of us who not, as savvy as some others.
Right. Because one of the things I'm gonna do at the regular meetup, Gershon, is I'm gonna try to get some of us together to do a class on how to get your pace count. Right. And that could be just on flat surface to get a kind of a estimated pace count, but then also compare that pace count on flat surface and then take that same pace count training to when it's not as level, when you're off, when you're in the wilderness, when you're in the woods, when there's trees down, there's
Elevation
different terrain
changes.
features, so
Yeah.
you'll really get to see that your pace count is, you want to get as accurate as possible, but then know how to maneuver around obstacles such as falling trees or heavy brush, or you got a ravine that's 60 feet down and it's, I don't know, a mile across, but but if you want to see if it's a sharp decline, or is it a mild one where you can still walk down it but still maintain your pace count without being completely thrown off. Because when you got like brush and all that stuff, your pace count can get thrown off because you're not stepping the same way as if you were on a flat surface, right? And then when you're in a situation like that, let's say it hits that, you're not going to want to be on open roads,
Right.
because you'd be subjected to vulnerability to other people that might be trying to get your stuff. You want to get deep in those woods as possible, so you may come across, like I said, cliffs and depressions and all that stuff, and you got to try to maneuver around it, but know your pace count so you don't lose orientation of where you are, number one, and give you an idea of how far you travel. So it's kind of stuff that I'm gonna teach, starting at the RG at the regular Vagona event, and then take it on your camping trip, right?
And if you guys got a specific type of terrain or any type of area you got in mind, just let me know and I can search for those type of places.
Okay.
If y'all want more wooded areas, if y'all want some, an area that has some actual wildlife on it, or whatever y'all feel like y'all want to experience on the trip, we got more than enough time because it's going to be like 5 months after the meetup. So whatever type of terrain you guys want to experience out here in Texas, just let me know and I'll search for that type of place.
Okay. There's the hunter. What's going on, dear me?
Really?
What's going on? What's going on,
How
people?
are you?
You,
What's
man.
going on,
You.
man?
How y'all doing today?
All right.
How about you?
Cool. I'm doing all right.
That's good.
But
So,
guys,
Jimmy-
I'm gonna hop back in the comment section. I'm
All
gonna
right.
watch from the comment section. I'm gonna try to get ready for this graduation. But I just wanted y'all to know I'm on here supporting y'all.
Hey,
Congratulations
Okay.
to your wife,
Okay.
man. You
Congratulations.
good,
yeah,
Gershon.
congratulations,
All right.
All right, now.
Congratulations.
Jimmy. You got to do some a field dressing class, man.
Yeah, you gotta teach me how to do all that
I want to
hunting,
do
man.
that. I want to be able to
Hey.
kill an animal and field dress it and cut it. Do everything you got to do to get it ready to put it in the freezer.
They call
Man, I'll
you
show
Jimmy.
you, man.
I'm canned tuna meat. That's all I can.
Yeah, I mean, I know how to field dress just about most of all the animals that I pretty much hunt. Rabbit, squirrel, deer, beavers. I do turtles. stuff like that too.
Wow.
I eat turtle meat too. So
I heard turtle soup's pretty good. So
yeah, it's pretty good. That snapping turtle good.
It's really good.
Carbon's
Right. Look at the comments like, oh,
Yeah, deer meat.
I say anything.
Have you heard of the stupid?
Yeah.
You heard of this guy?
Survival class.
Catfish.
She said survival thoughts.
Catfish. Yeah, this guy's his name is Catfish. The brother on YouTube that does the same thing. He does dressing. He said, you gotta go get the groceries, and he does dressing. Deer. It's like, yeah, I subbed to him. His name is Catfish. Hold on, I'm gonna get his name while we on here. He's another.
I know the guy you talking about. He always pops up in
CNB Outdoors.
Yeah, he pops up with CNB Outdoors. CNB Outdoors.
Yeah, he's a good one too.
Boss
man. He's a good one. Yeah, gotta get them hunting up.
Most of the stuff I hunt though, man, if I kill it, I'm gonna eat it. That's pretty much how I am. If I do any wildlife hunting, if I kill it, I'm pretty much gonna eat it. I ain't gonna let it go to waste. So if I don't eat that type of meat or something like that, like I do raccoon hunt, but I got a lot of family members that eat it. They just not able to go hunting. So I do. I'm gonna make sure I use it because it's just a blessing to be able to kill something and be able to nourish somebody or nourish yourself with it.
There we go. His name is
I have no problem.
I'm about to put
Cornell.
No wrong with.
Is it Catfish Cornell, Hooker?
Yeah, Catfish, Cornelius Catfish. I'm about to put it in.
So, how do you? Somebody had mentioned it earlier. How do you know if the animal is diseased after you kill it, or all that stuff? Like, how is that?
So, in most cases, like deer have they got a disease called blue tongue disease. They kind of like if you see them, if you shoot those, you pretty much want to leave them there. But they do have signs of, like, you'll see a deer that's kind of like walking around in circles, or if you make a noise and they don't look up to you right at that moment, they kind of like they'll have that disease. It's kind of like the same concept as mad cow disease. In deer, it kind of just turn they brain be kind of mushy.
I've seen like different stuff on YouTube. Like, guys, they killed a deer and they went in the meat, and the meat was full of parasites, stuff like that.
Do all that stuff, but I've never actually done it, so I need to again that practical application.
Wait, say it again?
No, say it again, Zach. You said.
Oh, I said I've seen people talk. I've seen like videos on YouTube. Guys went hunting and they'll kill a deer or some animal, and they'll go to try to get the meat, and the meat will be like full of parasites. And they're like,
so,
can't eat that.
So you got like you got a parasite that kind of that does be in the meat, but it's not harmful. Like you got the botfly larvae. We call them woolworms. They pretty much be in most animals. They usually fall out around the winter time, but like if you hunt like through the year, you might find one on a squirrel or something like that. You'll see one. It's a larvae of a botfly, but you can just push it out or cut around it.
Now I thought botflies, you didn't want to get a botfly in your ass, it'd be a problem.
No, with you, but and those, you know how you like people adapt. You know how people adapt to certain things. Like the animals, it don't really bother them. Just like if you have a dog, if a dog get bit by a poisonous snake, like a copperhead or a cottonmouth, dog is less likely to die than you. But I mean, they're just them developing over time because the dog is outside all the time. Just like if you got somebody that lives in the wildlife, like them Alaskan people, a lot of the disease, a lot of the sickness and stuff that we get, and it wouldn't affect them as much because they out there drinking that water, and stuff like that. So we came out there and actually drunk that water without it being actually filtered real good. then it probably make us sick for about 3 days.
Oh, they'll
Tear your
move
stomach
to
up for a week
it.
until your body, you know.
So
I'm
bot fly.
gonna die.
I didn't know that was a thing.
A bag of chips, huh?
I'll eat grass first.
Oh man.
Lord have
You'll be
mercy.
doing no bot flies.
Oh man. I mean, most of the time you see them like on most animals, they kind of be around their head. So I mean, you just cut that part off and hoop it. It most time be around like they face or behind, right by the neck or something like that. They don't really be like on the butt part of it.
So you say we should be eating butt, is what you're saying.
Look, I was feeling like getting a butt flow.
Man,
Why you got a butt fly? It's a butt fly.
A bot
Yeah,
fly.
looking around
when
the
you have
dog.
time, look at
it's just a
flies.
little worm. It's like a little worm, like a maggot, but it's bigger.
It'll mess humans up.
Well, that's good to know. That is really good to know. So that's some good to know. When you're hunting, what do you basically set up? How do you prep yourself?
So majority of the time, like some land, if I got some land or something, what I do is I go out and scout and try to find like a ridge or something like that. Cause deer will walk a ridge or they'll walk a fence line.
Yeah.
Majority of the reason I think this for deer like human. They don't want to be walking through all that mess. They don't want to be trying to dig, bend down, and scoop up under something. They want to walk a straight, clean path just like we do. So if you ever go somewhere and you see like you'll be like, man, I seen a deer on that trail. That's because the trail is open.
Yeah.
They want to use the least amount of energy to move around.
It's funny you say that because I got deer all around my house. Like, I mean, literally, I walk outside and go over across the street. There'll be some deer over there. It's always those places where like it's like a path and a lot of woods, and they just be walking around outside late at night. When it gets cold, if you drive out here, if it gets foggy, you mess around, there'll be some big old deer in the middle of the street. You gotta watch out.
Yeah.
Same here.
Them deer, man, they real smart. I tell you that. I do know that. Deer is a smart animal, and it make it challenging when you're hunting too, because they'll do some weird stuff, man. You'll see a deer that'll come up like be broadside, but it'll be standing behind a tree, and it'll stick a head there, and it'll blow and stomp. Deer can't really focus. Their sight, like how you know how you take a picture and it's clear in the background. I mean, it's kind of, you can see some details in the background, but the images of you is clear. That's how a deer sees. So what they do is they try to make you move so they can catch just a glimpse of you. Try to break up the background so they can make out the silhouette. Like deer are real smart. You know how people hunt in tree stand. If you got an older buck or something like that, he'll come through the woods and be looking up, while he walking.
Wow.
He's like looking for you, right?
Yep, looking for you.
Wow.
Not today.
Yeah, is quail season, is that seasonal or that's year round?
No, it's seasonal. Only thing that's kind of like year round, well, here in Mississippi that I know of, is like raccoons. They pretty much that's a lot of people that still hunt them, but it's not as much as like deer hunting or squirrel hunting and stuff like that. And the squirrel hunting kind of dying down too. It ain't as many people that do it, so it's so many of them, and that's why you got a season that you can pretty much hunt the whole year.
Yeah,
it'll go out for like a month or so, but that's about it.
How is this? Have you ever had pheasant? You ever hunted pheasant before?
One time, but it wasn't me actually going out to hunt for it. I just was out there hunting for something else, and it came up, and I took a shot. Pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Because they do pheasant hunts at my club, and I remember they do that stuff. Like they have pheasant hunts and things. I've never participated, but I never, I ain't never ate a pheasant. So
I got a question for you. Have you ever came across while hunting a deer or something? You came across a mountain lion or bear or something like that, or were you tracking on the same animal? Or what?
I have been in the stand where I have seen like a fawn, which is a baby deer, come past, and like a coyote will come behind it. Or you'll see a bobcat that's circling around.
Gotcha.
Bobcat got a small amount of chance getting it. Coyote, yeah, that joker right there can do it by itself.
Okay.
So let me ask you a question about hunting. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of time.
Yes, because a lot of like if you watch a lot of YouTube and stuff like that, a lot of it, it is was I guess you could say some of it edited out, or a lot of it is not, a lot of content not shown, because you can go out there and you might not see nothing. And I go out most of the time. I sit from anywhere from 5 to 7 hours. And you might not see a thing. It just might be the day. The wind might be blowing in the wrong direction. That's why you gotta have a stand in multiple spots to accommodate you for the wind. Like you have to be, because it might be blowing to the south one day, but if the deer moving out that way, well, you won't be on the other end, to try to catch them before they get upwind of you.
Wow.
Do you fish as well, or do you?
Yeah, I fish. I do a lot of fishing. I'm gonna try to see if I can put some content up of that too, because I fish out of kayak.
Nice.
Wow.
So what kind of hunting equipment should you bring? Okay, before you answer that question, this is the other question. So when you go out to hunt, whatever day you decide to go out to actually physically do it, do you pre-prep the area that you're going to be going into?
So, like, sometimes it depends on where I'm going, because I got a blind that I bought. It's actual like one of those chairs that you take to like football games and stuff, just fold out, but it's got a blind that you pull over the top of your head too.
Oh.
What I do is I try to go out there the day before. If I don't, I get up early enough where I can take a flashlight, like a red light, less likely for you to be seen, but you can still be seen walking around. And then what I do is, like I told you earlier, like I try to find a fence line or a ridge, and pretty much you may see something. You got a good chance of seeing something. It's more like a 60-40 than a 30.
Yeah.
You might get in the wrong spot and not see nothing at all but squirrel.
Oh wow.
Now, once you catch something, once you kill it, process it, do you have any like long-term storage or prepping kind of things that you do with it? Any of your kills?
So if you wrap it in freezer paper, if you do freezer paper, you get maybe about 6 to 7 months out of it. If you do a vacuum sealer, you're looking at about 12 to 13 months.
Okay.
And yeah, because I actually did a video on how I prepare some of the meat that I done. I did some deer tacos.
Yeah.
And that deer meat that I cooked was actually from last season.
Oh wow.
So yeah, that you pretty much just want to make sure you get all your blood out the meat. Do a salt bath or put it in some milk. That works real well. And for milk, it's a lot of people. It takes a good amount of the game taste out of it.
I heard that before. I have relatives in Caruthersville, Missouri, which is country, and they would cook that. They cooked possum one time, and I was like, nah. It was like oil.
I don't know if I can eat that. That's the only thing I probably won't eat.
My dad was trying to tell me, we went there and we were hungry. So my grandma Sally was like, "Y'all hungry?" My dad was like trying to get me to say no, like, no. So I'm like, "Yeah, I'm hungry. We'll go in there and get this possum." I'm like, "Possum?"
Oh man, no, I ain't ate that one.
Smell, and I opened up the pot. I was like,
I have ate an armadillo before.
Armadillo's good. I've had that.
Yeah, it's kind of like I call it musty, but strong tasted meat.
Musty?
Strong tasted. Yeah, like I call it musty. It's like a musty meat, like strong. The flavor to it real strong.
Yeah.
Like
aftertaste.
Gamey, I guess. It's like real.
Yeah. It's got real
strong
gamey taste.
aftertaste. It just lingers on you. It's just like it's just
Y'all go out and check his channel out, man. Support this brother because he's really got some good content up there. Great
He
content.
needs to come back next Saturday.
Oh yeah.
I come back.
Oh yeah.
Ayo, Danny has a question. Is there a perfect size to get for best storage and taste?
So I don't really want to say, but if you're getting an old deer, then it's gonna be tough. If you're getting a young deer, it's gonna be tender.
So he talking about.
But a lot of people don't want to kill a younger deer.
That's veal. It's basically veal. That's all it is.
Yeah, like a lot of people just don't want to kill a younger deer. I mean, if it's got spots on it, I'm gonna let it make it. If it's a button head, I'm gonna let it make it. But if that joke if it got a 4 point, if that doe at least 2 years old, man, if it's at the end of the season and I ain't shot nothing, I'm gonna smoke that joke.
All parts of the animal, like if it has antlers or anything like that, do you use that? And if you do, like, what do you use it for?
So most of the horns and stuff, depending on the size of it, I would use it for. I would make rattlers out of it. That'll be to keep calling another deer, basically a type of call that you can make. You can take some paracord and tie those two pieces together, and you can pop them together, and it'll assimilate a buck fight.
Wow.
And then I don't do nothing with the hide. I have done with the hide. Sometimes, like, I take it and tie it up, and then that's how I train a deer dog. Like, if you're gonna do I can't think of the name of a deer drive, where all y'all stand on one side, and then somebody go on the other side of the property, and then let the dogs out, and then the deer will run in one direction, called deer drive. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's mostly what I do with most of this stuff. Is pretty much like the horns, make that the cape I do training with. It's something else that I
like. This is like simulated buckhorn. I want to get some real ones that I can put on like the knife and stuff like that. I know a lot of times you see on the 911s they'll use those buckhorns for that.
They make real good like people that use it for making furniture and stuff in the house. Man, that stuff be looking good. My wife she ain't gonna get jiggy with this, so I
saw this one shotgun I would have loved to have gotten, but the guy wasn't taking debit card like that he was. It actually had the antler. One of the antlers was used as a stock.
Wow.
It was really cool.
All right there.
Hammer fired 12 gauge. Of course, you had to use. It was an older shotgun. So you had to use somebody.
One day you gotta do that.
You have to use the rounds that aren't as pressure, the low pressure rounds, light loads. But it was a pretty cool looking gun. So yeah, people use that stuff for anything, man. So
Jimmy, what's your biggest successful kill? Like a 10-point buck, 12-point, something.
The biggest one I can kill was an 8-point, but it had a big spread on it. So the biggest I ever seen was like a 16-point. But I kept on, man. I either wasn't sitting in there long enough, or I was coming in the woods too late. Like every morning or every evening, I'd be walking out and I see him, and before I could get my gun to put it on him, he already gone.
Like that's how you got them 16 points. You smart.
Man, the
Carbon cheering for the deer.
Get that rack, man.
Kevin, coming for you, run.
Man.
Yo, speaking of deer, have you seen like? I know this is probably gonna gross the shit out of Carbon Q, but have you seen those videos where they show the headshots?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
What's your favorite weapon, dear meat, when you're hunting?
Man, my favorite gun, I love hunt rifle. I'm a rifle hunter. My favorite caliber is 45-70.
Oh,
The reason is because it's less work. I don't have to go track them after I done shot them,
No, you
looking for
need
no
just once they
blood
shot, they
trail.
shot. Yeah.
They gonna be right there when I shoot. They gonna be laying right there.
Okay.
And I don't really have to do, sometimes you have to slit the throat just to get the blood drain going. You don't have to do that with that 45-70.
It evacuates all the way.
By the time you get him back to the camp, he empty. So that's my favorite. That's my favorite rifle caliber of all time. My wife bought me one for Christmas, and I love it good. I barely want to hunt with it.
Is that a bolt
I
action,
care so
lever
much
action? What is it?
It's a lever action.
Yeah, I'm looking at getting a
lever
4570 lever. That's my.
Yeah, I'm looking at one of those.
70 is awesome.
Man, Marlin.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. That 4570 Marlin.
Give me
What?
tap
He's
and
been
add.
outbid on Gunbroker. I almost had one that was a heart to heart plated, and I just got outbid for it. But yeah, I'm looking for one of those. Good to know.
It's badass, and that round is a great round because when you're shooting through brush, it's not getting-
Penetrates.
It's gonna go straight to it.
It's like a good bush gun.
Good brush gun.
Yeah,
Yeah, what are the points about? Give me. Tap
Ant-
one, what are
antlers.
the points?
antler points.
Yeah.
That's what it is. When
Have
it's
you
all-
ever? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, the amount of spikes on his head. So I'm gonna tell you what we do in Mississippi. If you can hang a ring on it, it's a point. But if it got a knot on there and you can't hang a ring on it, it's not a point. A lot of people be like, I killed a 9 point, then it got a little stubby. If you put that ring on there and it fall off, it ain't no point.
Okay.
A lot of people try to count them like that. Oh yeah, I killed it. Just try to make their horn count be big.
Okay.
See, I hunt for horns. I do a lot of that, but most time I just do meat. I'm a meat person.
Just like this, that's not 9 inches, right?
Huh?
So you don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Have you ever shot a moose?
No, I hadn't had a chance to go hunt it. I done hunted hogs. I done hunted squirrel, rabbits, coyotes. I told y'all armadillos. I did a lot of mostly just animals that's around here. Like I want to go do I'm gonna try to get me and my dad to go do a elk hunt or a mountain goat or something like that. I want to do that. I want to experience it with my pops though. I want him to go. Oh, I'm gonna try to pay for both of us to go.
Nice.
The biggest animals I ever saw was some elk. We were coming over the mountain, Tennessee, going over to North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And that elk looked like it was as big as a Cadillac. It was beautiful. It was sitting out there because it was like the way the sun was sort of setting in the fall. You could see like the fog. And the way them two animals were sitting out there, one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. Man. But the thing was big as a Cadillac.
They actually have those here in Arkansas, but man, it's so hard to get the tag for them. Like I stay in Mississippi, I can pay for our state license. You have to do a draw. Like everybody put in so many. They only let I think maybe 100 people hunt. And that's I was like, man, I put in for that thing 5 years in a row. I ain't never won. I didn't stop putting in for it. But I want to hunt one though.
You mentioned coyote. Is that because they're more of a troublesome species, or why do you do the coyote hunts?
The biggest thing on those is if I my property. I got 200. I got 200 acres that we camp on and stuff. So if you got a big predator species like that over there, it'll cut your deer population down, or you won't have as many deer coming through because of that. Because what you want is you want to have a lot of does, which are female deer, on the property. You don't want too many, but you want a good amount on the property to when the rut come in, which is the breeding period. That'll be your buck attractor. So for us, what y'all saying, like what I use, like if I kill a doe or even if I kill a buck, what I do is they got some hair on the inside of the inside of their knees, like towards the top of their knees. So what I do is I cut that off with some scissors, because when they urinate, it actually hits those little hairs, and their smell is attractive. Or like, yeah, like you remember that commercial used to come on Tink 69 with them deer talking on the wall?
Yeah,
that's what it is. That's what it is. I don't know, man.
I get it. It makes sense. Wow.
That's what they do at Ladies' Eye at the club. That's the same thing.
Piss on their knees.
Man.
I'm with E-Money and Ayo. Y'all kill him and we'll do defense.
The moose.
Yeah.
Be right back, y'all. I'm gonna get my phone charged.
I'm glad that he's saying all of this, because a lot of people you hear that, if I don't have to store food, if stuff hits the fan, I'm just gonna go hunt. Clearly, hunting took a lot of preparation.
Patience.
Yeah.
As a kid, I did small game, nothing like deer. I just like rabbits. That's a lot of work.
It's like people think they just if I don't have it, I'll just go fishing. Fishing is called fishing for a reason. It ain't called. That's why it's not called catching.
Yeah, I think people don't realize, like, if you're hungry, then you have to take time. And he said like 2 days he had to go the day before, and then set up the tent and all, and cut piers and spread them. I don't know what that
can't go fishing with it.
Right.
Go for bread and some grease.
Think about the animals. Think about the wildlife, the predators out there. They're not catching.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So one thing, like I was watching it earlier. I was out to eat. That's why I wasn't able to come on here. Yeah. But like for us, like the stuff y'all was saying, keeping your car. A good thing to keep in the car is a paracord too, because even in your what you call it, being the bag, look, if you keep that paracord in there, say something happens, you get stuck on the hill, you ain't able to call, you up there for a week or whatever. A lot of people do not like to barbecue. Like they don't want to shoot it and just kill it, see it die. Yeah. It's a big problem for a lot of people. So
I will cry.
If it came to a point where I would have to do that, and just say I did have rifles and stuff, and I had 308 and a 22, the preferred animal that I would go after first is small game, which is squirrels or rabbits or stuff like that, because I can use a smaller ammo. Use a larger caliber for self-defense. I mean, even though 22 is well capable, it's capable to defend yourself with. A lot of people don't think so, but it is. But the paracord, I would use that to do snares, a lot of trapping. Because what you can do is you can take a log. If you find like a acorn tree or a hickory tree or something like that that's got nuts on it or something like that, you can lean a log on that tree. And you can take you another stick that's got like a fork on it, and you can put it up beside that log, stick it in the ground, and you can actually make a slip knot and put it on there. And when the squirrel runs up that tree, and he get his head stuck in there because it's gonna catch his head, you tie the other end to the tree and he'll fall, but you ain't there to see it. You ain't there. Don't look.
Well, that's survival. That's good to know. That's something to get.
I hope all of y'all are listening because if we ever get together, don't say barbecue. I'm gonna set them all free. We all gonna die. Just
Barbecue got a bag of
I'll
sunflower
do something
seeds.
else.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
I cannot do it. I cannot do it. The little girl, you go bash his head in with the log. I can't. I don't. Maybe if I get desperate enough, I'll probably be like, to hell with this girl. But at this point today, Corbin cannot do it.
Miss Mill cramps hit you. You start
I just was trying to think of something that you wouldn't have to be there to see.
I'm like stressed right now just listening to it. I'm like, what?
You'll be all right when you start gnawing. When you start gnawing on it, you'll be fine.
Man.
Exactly. Maybe I
When she
have to
smell
be
it cooking.
that desperate and that hungry, like I won't care. But I'm listening, and I listen. I get it. I understand it. It's absolutely a survival skill that we all should have. But Carmen's gonna fail on that part. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like,
And then the thing is,
I'm
like,
gonna-
I mean, you don't really need meat to live.
Yeah.
Well,
I
no,
mean, you can eat bugs like crickets. Crickets are very got a lot of protein.
Mhm.
Yeah, got a lot of
Worms
proteins
got
in
their
it.
protein.
Look at us. That's
Yeah.
even worse.
I'm gonna
Barbecue.
I'm
I mean, you said
the bugs and that stuff. I'm going to die, and I'm okay with it. Y'all don't even got to save me. Like, I'm ready to go.
Crayfish,
I'm at
crawfish.
peace with that.
so.
I'm just saying it is.
See,
You can't live off snacks.
Look, Carl Q gonna have to. She gonna have to get her a book with nothing
Survival
but like
snacks.
all the food that you can eat in her area that's not poisonous, like all the
Snacks.
plant-based
Right.
stuff. She ain't gonna make it out the
And I'm
meat.
trying. Like, I will go. Like, if you do like skin the animal class, I will go, and I will really try. I'm not even gonna say that I'm gonna do it because you need it to survive, but I'm telling you, if you say, "Hey, Carbon, you're in charge of this," y'all gonna be mad as fuck at me because I'm gonna be like, "Listen,
So
Oh,
We got the
That's
Carmen.
true.
From the Texas.
no.
yeah, put me with the farmers or the medical people, or something else. Don't give Carbon to bring home the food stuff.
That's what
So
when
when is the meetup with Gershon now?
I don't know. Right now, I don't even know what to say to anybody. So
He said it's like he said.
no, we don't know yet. It's
It'll be the
after
fall. I think he's
After
So-
maybe right now,
fall or
probably.
about around the summer or something like that, the end of the summer.
I'm not even.
So if we do, and you know, if we don't have no animals, I'm gonna try to make it down there. I'm making it. I'm putting it on my list to try to make it down there for sure.
Okay.
That'd be good, man.
What I do is I go out and kill some squirrels already, and I just freeze them in a bag, but not clean. I just
There's like a whole dead squirrel in. Oh my god!
no, I'm gonna cut the tail and the head off, so that way I can just show you the basic.
Headless squirrel. You don't even know which one's worse.
We had a friend
Basic
who did that.
cleaning on it. Like
Yeah.
those are rabbits and squirrels, probably some of the most easiest cleaning animals that you can clean.
Mhm.
Don't take a lot. For the most part, all you gotta do really is just cut a slit on their back,
Yeah.
well enough to get your 2 fingers in, and just pull it. He come right out of his cape. Put their feet, clip that out with some scissors, cut the head off, pull the guts out, ready to go.
We had a buddy here in Ohio. We call him Hood Billy, and he does that. You know, he'll trap squirrels and stuff. And he actually did a whole live for us on Facebook. Showed us how to do it. Did it right there on Facebook. Spread it out.
Man, that's all right. Yeah.
Do you
Pull
like
the guts out and
market
everything.
kidneys on those?
Oh man,
Pulled off the cake.
Car Q over here hyperventilate.
Yeah, it's a process. We all got. I'm trying. I'm sitting through it. I'm like,
Yeah,
The organs on some animal like that. Like
told you that's he sure got it. That's how it's supposed to do. How?
Yep, and he took his fingers and just pulled
Well,
everything
that's
out.
good to know.
It
man.
comes straight out.
Really, that's survival. What you're talking about, you know.
Well, I saw when they did the groundhog. It was crazy, right? They trapped the groundhog,
Carmen's like, nah.
hit over his head, skin it, and then lunchtime we're eating groundhog. You know, so
Yeah.
Honestly, Carbon, the way that when you're out hunting, it's probably more humane than what they're doing to these chickens and
Yep.
I promise you it
they
is.
have in these
Yeah.
multi-mega farms and stuff like that. They treat them so bad. It's just like, you know.
it's terrible, right?
It's like, even the fish, how they have the fish in all these little small little maybe containers.
Baby steps are carbon. Y'all putting the fingers, sliding guts out. Listen, survive.
Let me ask you, have you ever, like when you clean the animal, have you eaten like one like the heart or something like that raw?
I've eaten heart.
I tried it,
but
it ain't for me.
It's tough. It's just like, ugh. Yeah.
It is not for me.
Yeah.
I didn't try it though.
Gamey.
It's just you can't
too
chew
chewy.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm eating something and I bite down, it like pow. Bounce my mouth back up. No.
Like a rubber.
Yeah, man. Heart is
and I love sushi, but I can't do no raw steak and stuff like that. Nah.
I tell you what's good. The only steak that I ate raw was what was it? Kobe.
Yeah.
I sure waiting on you to say it. Yeah. I want to try it so bad.
Yeah, I've eaten
the marble in that meat. So
yeah, man, that's stuff. I had that whatever that wagyu I was eating. The marbling was ridiculous. Man, that stuff. That's the best.
Yeah, it's really good. Real marbling. Because what they do is they feed them beer.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Them cows, man, they only on their feet about 2 hours out the day. They got a whole sling that they sit in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got a thing that they put in. They raise them up off the ground, and they just walk just a little bit,
so it
like 2 hours out the day.
It's got to get
massages and they drink beer. That's why they get so fat and get all that marble and it tastes so good.
Yeah,
man, Kobe high, man. That's some high meat. Woo.
You can't get real Kobe in the United States anymore.
I believe it.
Man, and for us, like when y'all talking about fishing, man, in my area, even in Texas, because I know, probably one of the preferred fish to go try to catch with the least amount of effort is like a sunfish, a bluegill, brim, stuff like that. We call them sharecroppies, stuff like that.
Crappies, yeah, that's big.
Yeah, they're a lot less effort to catch. Most of your bluegills and stuff gonna be right around the bank. They're bait fish, but they taste real good. They just got a lot of bones.
Well, you know what? It's been 2 hours and 20-something minutes.
Wow,
you're doing good.
That's probably the longest one, right?
Oh yeah.
Man, I'm glad I caught it.
Next Saturday we gonna finish this up, y'all. Same crowd, same time.
You were amazing. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming in, dear.
Thank everybody.
Guns, Zach, Guns in the Cougar, BP, Carbon Q, and myself.
Hey, it was good to talk to you guys, man.
Saturday. Everybody in the chat land too, Coy, AO, E Money. Shout out to everybody.
Everybody has been in here. QB.
I hope you feel better, Carbon Q.
Yeah.
Look, she got like 3 shades lighter.
Right.
I'm trying. I'm not even like.
She about to toss up though.
Yes, I am. Oh my gosh! You said eat the heart raw. Why? Just like what's the?
It's just like a thing they would do with hunter.
It's a ritual.
It's a ritual. To prove your manhood or prove your hunting promise or.
I quit.
Eat the heart of the animal.
Y'all peace out, man.
All right, man.
I hope you come back there.
All right.
See you.
Peace out, y'all.
Later.
Peace.